That's okay. I was like,
All right, technical difficulties in the beginning, but here we are. Okay. As y'all might be able to tell, I'm a little bit tired. Okay. I have my second cup of coffee at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I didn't think I would ever say, but hey. So, should we reintroduce ourselves? All right, so I'm Mo. I'm 24 years old, and I'm writing a fantasy horror, dark fantasy mystery series. So,
I mean, I could go next if you want. Sorry, I was about to give my real name. I go by Kathryn Faye. It's actually a duo. My husband writes with me, but he does not like to be shown on camera. So that's just how it goes. I write anything dark. I mean, I've got my little fun devices that I play with. I'm in my 30s, mid-30s, and I used to have an agent. I do not anymore, but that's fine. I'm going a different direction. On my YouTube channel, I tend to show off calligraphy, do ASMR readings, and reading. About all I've got right now.
cool.
Hey everybody, I'm Kashay. I write short stories and the occasional blog post. I am in the last year of my 20s, ready to start this wonderful decade called the 30s of my life here soon. I write anything I can get my hands on pretty much right now. Like I'm trying to try everything to see where I'm strongest. And my YouTube channel, I kind of go as Shay with the hobbies. So I'll go wherever my hobbies take me.
That's really cool. I think it's cool that you're trying to branch out into different like everything.
I'm the oldest in the middle. It's okay. The 30s are fine. I didn't think I'd get here. So.
Okay, so do we want to start off kind of talking about writing we've done, or do we want to play some of the games that were suggested, or
if the audience has questions, although there's technically 3 people, because I'm not counting myself. I'm not going to count myself who's also in the chat.
Yeah, does the audience have any questions?
I'm up for whatever the group goes for. I'm up for whatever we decide.
Yeah, I think we're here for like 2 hours till 5-ish, unless we want to leave early.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll probably stay the whole time. Let's see. I'm trying to read the comments. Let's see. Hi, Dolores. Is that how you say your name? I don't know. I could be completely butchering your name, but hi. You said hi in the chat, so I'm trying to say hi back. So, let's see. So there's this Would You Rather game. Are y'all up for starting with that?
Looks like maybe we have a question.
Oh, sorry. I guess I missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it just popped up. I literally have this chat in 2 places. I have it on my computer screen and I have it on my phone.
All right, question. How long have you been writing? I have been writing for, I guess, on and off since freshman year of high school, like not including stuff that I had to write for school. I guess like creative writing I've been doing since then. So approximately 10 or 11 years.
I've been writing for 22 years. I actually, fun fact, sent my first book ever to Tor when I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
My husband asked what I classified as professional writing, and I said, well, I was already sending my work off when I was 12.
That's really awesome.
So that tells you my age, too.
Well, I was gonna say I haven't like sent work off or anything like that, but I've been writing since I was 5. It started out as a therapy treatment for me as a kid. So I've been writing like for that long. So
Okay.
yeah.
I
So,
don't think Devin's in the chat, but I thought I would say this is my book.
ooh.
This is a 10-year-old book. Like my husband's literally going through and marking this thing up because I did not have a good editor. So anyone who's interested, it's on Amazon, but just warn you, it is 10 years old. I have definitely improved since
Well, that
then.
makes sense. In 10 years, I feel like you practice something for 10 years, you're bound to improve. But so
I could hope.
all right, let's see. Were there any other questions? I think that was the only question, right?
So far.
All right. So would y'all rather, I guess, talk more about what we're writing or what we have written, or do y'all want to play one of the games maybe to get to know each other a little bit better, or do y'all want to talk about how our days have been or how 2020 has been going? Or maybe we shouldn't talk about that.
Like I said, this is my 3rd stream today, so that was my day.
I was gonna say we could play a game, and then whatever we say or do can deal with writerly type things, so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
All right. So if we decide to play the game, would y'all rather play something like Would You Rather or Never Have I Ever? Or book
I don't
trivia.
know any of those games.
Okay, so Would You Rather, and I could be wrong about this because I haven't played these games in a while, but Would You Rather, I think you ask 2 questions and then you choose which one you would prefer out of, like, not to choose. Question is posed. Sorry, if I can actually English right now. A question is posed and there's 2 options and you have to choose which option you prefer. If that makes any sense. And then Never Have I Ever, I think you say something you haven't done, and if someone else has done that, then they raise their hand or something. I think I could be completely wrong about that.
That sounds like a drinking game.
Yeah, there is definitely a drinking game. It's definitely you take a shot.
It's very
but your hand is.
Well, I could drink my coffee.
Yeah, mine's very empty.
Some water, you can make sure I'm very hydrated by the
I do have water in this one, so there I can do water.
I'll take a sip of caffeine every time. Keep me motivated. Let's see, Stephanie Whitson, sorry if I butchered your last name, said that she can ask questions all night if need be. Well, feel free to ask whatever questions you want. Depending on the question, I mean, we may or may not answer depending on how personal it is, but yeah, thank you for offering to ask questions. Okay, so sorry if I completely missed what y'all had said. We prefer to do Would You Rather or Never Have I Ever or one of the other games. Or did I miss something?
I'm up for anything.
I'm up for either. You pick, Miss Host. You pick.
Okay, then I'm just gonna go with Would You Rather because it's right here on my laptop already. All right, would you rather write in the morning or write at night?
I write at night. I prefer night.
I prefer night.
Yeah, I prefer night as well. So, which kind of makes sense given that all 3 of us are available at this time to do this stream.
She asked me when was my availability. I said, whenever.
Yeah, all right.
I know ever like, hey, I'll just fill whatever spots because I figured there are probably a lot of people that have exact times when they're available, so I could just fit in for those places where people didn't fit.
Let's see, Alley Cat. Like, how long Alley Cat had a question.
Like, how long from when I first started writing, or how long have I been writing for today? I think the first question was how long we've been writing in
Period.
total, not just today, like our entire lives.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
At least that's how we answered, I think.
Yeah. And then let's see. Stephanie says that she's a night writer. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
I used to be, I was forced into writing during the mornings back when I actually was working. But because of this year, yeah.
Yeah. I just, for some reason, I find I'm more creative at night. Maybe it's because I'm slightly delusional because of lack of sleep. I don't know.
Sorry, I keep touching my ink bottle, which is right here, and it's.
You have an ink bottle? That is so cool.
Yeah, I actually handwrite everything. So this is
so
one
cool.
pen. This is the other pen. And then this is the third pen.
That is so cool. Sometimes I handwrite. Sometimes I prefer it depending on my mood, but I usually just use a boring pencil. So, yeah.
There you go. I will, it's like, since we're talking about it, and I wasn't going to pull it up, but this is, see if we can get to it. It's hard to do.
That's really nice looking.
Thank you. I handwrite all of my first drafts, and then I put them all on the computer.
Sounds like a lot of
That's
work.
really pretty.
It's fun.
Right.
I don't understand how people can stay on the computer all the time.
Yeah, sometimes I don't like typing on the computer, so I handwrite, but I've never handwritten an entire draft. So props to you for being able to do that. And your handwriting is so nice. Whenever I handwrite, my handwriting is so terrible. Sometimes I go back and reread it and I'm like, what did I write? So I don't know if I'm the only one with that problem, but
no,
I mean, I even have a problem with it. Just takes a while. Yeah.
like, I think this says this, but that sounds really awful. Did I really write that terribly, or am I misreading my own handwriting, or both?
First drafts are not meant to be all pretty. I actually am I've scheduled calligraphy lessons on my AuthorTube page because a lot of people want to learn, and it is what I'm starting my store with, all my calligraphy.
Awesome. I want to watch that. I should. I think I used, when I was younger, I got into calligraphy for like a little while. I think I was like 8 or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I haven't done it in a long time.
I'm going to teach on my channel. I'll teach people how to do ballpoint or paint as well as these. But these are a big investment. This guy's $100, and I have friends that have bought $10,000 calligraphy pens. So this one, I don't know how much this one is because I was given it. It is actually an antique and no longer sold. It's got 6 different nibs on it. So this guy is old, and I'm pretty sure, like, you put ink in through the piston right there.
Okay.
This one is this one's a 3-way. I can do. I tend to use it as an ink, using it with the ink, but you can also put ink in there. Trying to make sure the camera's there. You can put an ink cap in there, or you can. I have a piston for this one too. So this one is a big converter, but it's very heavy.
That is really cool. My mind is like nerding out right now. I'm like, that's so cool.
They're really pretty. And it's like, man, one, that's a lot of money for a pen, no lie. Like, I was like, oh, wow, that is a huge investment. But like for craft stuff, the more you pay for it, the bigger investment, the better it usually is.
Like my friend who personally spent $10,000 on a pen, he's actually a millionaire. It's through his investments that he's gotten that much money. And
good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like that, but he's the one who gave me this pen, so I'm okay with this. And he also gave me this one because he didn't. It was poor quality or something. I don't know. I don't care. I was like, hey, I'll take it. I'm fine with that.
Free stuff.
I'm fine with that. It could just be that he prefers certain pens and this one wasn't. I don't know. I'm fine with that.
Well, the pens are really cool. So, at least I think they're cool. I don't know, maybe I'm a nerd, but I mean, I feel like most of us are probably nerds. So, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all consider yourselves nerds, but I consider myself a nerd. So,
for me, I'm very picky about my stuff. I am more apt to like. It's really weird, and I actually did a video on it because I have writing rituals or pre-writing rituals where every book has to go with a story. I'm just looking at all of my books, and they range anywhere from $6 to 70 or 80, and it just depends. So, but I can't write unless I've got the right stuff in front of me, which sucks.
okay. Yeah, I don't think I have any writing rituals. I don't know. Coffee and tea help. Maybe having tea or coffee is my ritual. Let's see. So Stephanie says, I got kids and find it hard to concentrate during the day, and well, insomnia is my best friend. I don't have kids, but I have 2 dogs. So, I mean, I know they're not the same. Like, I'm not trying to imply that, but sometimes my dogs keep me up really, really late. And sometimes they decide to bark at like 4 o'clock in the morning when the birds get up. So that's fun.
Oh, I hate those middle of the night barks. Those middle of the night barks that like wake you up out of your sleep off.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be frustrating. But I love my dogs. They're basically my babies. So
I need to turn off my camera real quick because I need to test my blood, and I don't think people want to see that. So
okay, understandable. Let's see. Okay, because my tired brain was like, which one? I've been writing since 9th grade, and now I'm in college, so 6 years. Yeah, I've been writing since about 9th grade as well, and I recently graduated college, so basically around the same amount of time that you have, just a little bit longer. So if you don't mind me asking, what are you majoring in? Alley Cat, sorry if it's not clear that I'm talking to you. I also like writing during the night too. Welcome to the club. I feel like probably most people who are in this live stream are probably night writers or very early morning writers. Question, what is your go-to writing instrument when handwriting things? This is for everyone here. I like pencils because I like to be able to erase things because it really bothers me if I scratch too much, like have too many like scratched out words, or I also tend to misspell things. So I like to be able to go back and correct my spelling. So, because there's no spell check on a piece of paper.
So I prefer pencils, but my go-to are pens because I'm left-handed, and so I have to be careful with the way I hold it so that it doesn't like smudge and whatnot. And pencil continuously smudges while pen kind of just smudges right when it's writing and then it dries. So because of that and being irritated with like my hand being colors and there being markings all over the pages, I just go ahead and I just write.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's the green ink. The Jade Noir is all over my hands. Do not mind me. I am eating a few things because my blood sugar is at 62 and I need to stay up.
That makes sense. Totally understandable. So.
As for instruments, you saw what I like to write with pens.
Yes. Which those are awesome pens. So if I had those pens, I might prefer a pen to a pencil. I don't know. But yeah.
I can show you, this is, let's see, gold ink. Let's see, red ink. Purple Rain, which is a purple. Blue Black, which is kind of gray. And then, of course, Jade Noir, which is kind of a dark green. And then I have this one, though I don't tend to use it. It's a black ink, just regular black. But I believe this is a permanent ink. Is this permanent? Never, ever, ever get an ink that says waterproof. I'm not sure if this one is or not, but if you do that, you can actually clog the nib because it's got shellac in there, and it will destroy the nib. And this nib is $12. So just putting that out there, these nibs are not cheap. So don't tend to write with India waterproof ink because they tend to have shellac in them.
Okay.
That's something I'll also share. I do have a live write-in that I did this for, but I'll share it more.
Cool. That's actually really good to know if I get back into calligraphy and using pens like that. So, because I certainly didn't know that. So thank you. All right, let's see. Question. And thank you again, Stephanie, for asking so many questions. I really appreciate it. Round of applause. All right. When you have a notebook or journal that you write in, is there a specific size you prefer? I personally don't have a specific size I prefer, and sometimes I honestly just write on like random sheets of paper because my organization skills need work. So truth comes out.
So like when I'm writing stuff, I prefer like the traditional regular like spiral notebooks. But when I'm like journaling like for myself, like I prefer that like regular size journal that like you get at bookstores and stuff, like the normal average. I want to say it's like maybe like a 5 something or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's what my current journal is.
See, that works.
Oh, so sorry if I accidentally interrupted you. I didn't mean to.
No, not at all. Like that was it. That was all I was gonna say.
Okay.
Like when I'm writing, I prefer regular like spiral notebooks, and when I'm journaling, I prefer like the traditional journal size.
I tend to have different ones. This one is actually, is no lines. This one is line. Let's see. See if you can see the lines.
I still can't get over how good your handwriting is. At least it looks good on camera.
Oh, thank you.
Like
this one is a leather-bound soft line.
You have really nice looking journals.
Thank you. I have to normally ask my husband if I'm allowed to get them at times because they are expensive. But
yeah, my nice journals have never been written in. Like it's just a nice growing pile of really pretty journals. I've never written in.
Yeah, I think I have 1 or 2 really nice journals, and I have not written in them because I'm too scared. I'm like, I spent too much money on this. I don't want to mess it up.
Right? Like I don't want to mess it up at all.
And for me, they all have to have a purpose. And like this one's a $70 journal. If I don't have a reason to write in this, my husband could be like, "Why are you buying it?" So I have to have a reason for what I'm writing in. This one, this guy is my biggest. This guy is my most expensive at $150, but it is actually a refillable journal, so I can just take him out, and it's handmade. So
oh, cool.
That's why it was like the lady actually hand makes all the faces. Now this one has a name, but I call him Facebook for obvious reasons because it's funny.
Clever.
Yeah, I thought so. What'd she call him? She actually hand writes him Rectar. So, I also have a wallet with it might be in the room, which has a face on it. So
Cool. That's a really, really neat journal. It's cool that it's refillable too.
I also have like ones that aren't leather bound, but they all have to mean something. This one is part of my Mystic Emporium series, which is my middle grade dark contemporary fantasy. This one's a vampire one, a vampire murder mystery one.
The journal seems fitting for something like that.
I'm very picky, and I found out, which is really cool, I found out Neil Gaiman, or Gaiman, I don't know how he pronounces his name, but he also handwrites everything, so it kind of makes me feel, ooh, we've got something in common.
Cool.
I don't know if he does this. He might just use a regular ballpoint, which I have ballpoints. This is a ballpoint. My little owl one, he's a ballpoint.
Owl's really cute.
My husband and I love owls. That's our wedding thing. It's all about owls. Sorry, I don't.
Awesome.
Somebody talks about size, and I'm like, it really just depends.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just whatever's available. Like, I want to write, oh, what's this? Okay, I'll just use whatever's over here. All right, let's see. Stephanie says, I like pins, and side note, 2 of my kids are left-handed. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Next comments. Sorry, I'm going through these comments kind of slowly. Let's see. I'm back. Was in the bathroom. Let's see. I want to go into an English major of some kind. I'm focusing on generals right now, though. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's see. I have a journal that my husband bought me, but I prefer 5x8 generally. I guess side note, back to this comment by Alley Cat, given that I had asked Alley Cat what they were majoring in. Just side note, do y'all mind sharing what y'all majored in college, if you went to college, or and if you didn't go to college, that's cool too.
Yeah, so I was a double business major. So I majored in management information systems with the information assurance option. So basically like the business side of computer science with some cybersecurity, and international business with a concentration in Spanish and a marketing minor. And I'm in grad school now for information assurance. So I'm a cybersecurity master's student.
Awesome. I majored in electrical engineering, and I've also done some stuff with cybersecurity. So, not much. I'm not like, yeah, and then like computer programming. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So right after college, I went to like work as a software developer. And, like programming is like my love. Like I love it. It's like the like computer side of creating. So I love it.
I understand that fully.
So I'm the one who doesn't major in anything worthwhile. Well, my 2 things. One of them is worthwhile because I majored as an interpreter for sign language, and my husband and I are the deaf and hard of hearing community. So, and I'm hard of hearing. So, okay, one thing actually matters. The other one is media art and animation. So
both of those sound cool to me. So
yeah, but
I don't know why you're dissing your major, but
because it's the one most it's the one most people say, oh, it doesn't get you anywhere, you know.
Those are Debbie Downers or whatever it's called.
School, because our digital media department was our like highest recruited department when I was in school. So
I did not graduate. I did not like they made us do 3ds Max, and I don't like it. I'm very much into hand animation, taking 5 hours to do 2 seconds of hand animation. I did not like doing. I'm not a computer artist. I just don't. I can't do it. So, but I learned a lot of stuff, and I learned a lot of what I don't like.
Okay. All right. Well, so then it was still like worth something though.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I learned how to be a better artist. The sign language definitely is that is a bigger major, and eventually I'll finish that.
Well, good luck. And sign language, it sounds really cool. I thought about trying to do some like learn sign language, but I never got around to really learning it. But I really should. So
Hey, I think you should. I think I mean, obviously I've got a bias here, but I think it's like a lot of people don't realize how there's so many people that are like, oh, we can get rid of captions and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, you can't. There's some of us who really need it. We really need it. And it's a beautiful culture. A lot of people don't realize, but sign language, deaf and hard of hearing has an actual culture. That's why when people bring up the cochlear implants, you get people that go, because it's a big controversy within the sign language, the deaf and hard of hearing culture.
that makes sense. And I guess, I mean, I'm not deaf and I don't know much about the deaf community or implants or any of that, but I can imagine that if someone were to get an implant, there would at least be some sort of adjustment period if they ever adjusted, right? Or am I wrong about that? If you know?
No. Cochlear implants are actually the reason why there's a lot of controversy over the cochlear implant, and I believe my husband's two brothers have them, but there are some in the deaf community that are very much no, because cochlear implants make you hear at least better. I read lips, so it's why I'm able to, for the most part, understand people, and I can hear out of this ear. This one doesn't do much. It hears my body fluids. That's about all it does. It's just a pain in the butt. But a lot of it is, most people go, if you have cochlear implants, are you part of the deaf community still? A lot of people are, and a lot of people are given them without their permission, because there's a lot of parents that are just like, oh, well, I need a hearing kid. And it's like, it's a big controversy. It's like, okay, what about the blind community? I mean, it feels kind of callous and my husband, because he works for the inner city Baltimore kids who are sadly very unfortunate about means of money, as well as there's a lot of kids in his school that don't even get to eat unless they're in school. So because we have COVID and everything, we've opened up the school so that people could actually get free meals. A lot of them sadly have parents that are like, oh, we'll just get him something so that we can listen to him. And they don't bother to take the time to actually communicate with their children, which is really sad. So it's one of those topics that some people are very against and some people are okay with. So
Yeah, well, I guess I can't have really much of an opinion on it because I don't really know and I'm not really part of that community, but
oh yeah, understandable.
Well, I know I've done a few live streams with a member of the deaf and hard of hearing community who's also part of the AuthorTube community, Kathryn Storm. And they have spoken about a lot of things. They do a lot of videos about deaf and hard of hearing awareness and a lot of like different spotlights on like social media and things like that. So if you're looking for more information,
yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, I don't.
Great reference.
I think I need to look at her stuff too, because like I've had people go, I didn't even know that you had hearing issues, and I'm like, oh, I'm just very good at masking it. But yeah, I don't do anything like that on my stream though. So
So what was the YouTuber, the AuthorTuber's name that you had mentioned, Kashay?
Kathryn Storm. I'll put their name in the chat for you.
Okay, thank you, because I
That'll be
definitely
good.
want to check that channel out.
Yeah,
right.
I'll definitely check her out too, because I'm glad when I get to see more people that awesome that do that kind of stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Kashay.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Let's see. Stephanie says I have.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was already subscribed to. My goodness, I was already subscribed, and I didn't know how her name was spelled. Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Stephanie says I have a journal that my husband bought me, but I prefer 5x8 generally. Okay. Let's see. This one I have the low lined one. Sorry, I'm probably so far behind on comments. I don't actually remember. Was this in reference to the journals as well? Probably. Okay.
I think so.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Naked Firefly. How are you? Sorry that I didn't say hi sooner. If you're still on. All right. I'm so behind on comments. All right. Alley Cat, question 2. My flute, no anyway, bad joke. But I thought since instrument was in the question. All right. Well, I play the violin. So fellow musical instrument person here. Anyway, if I'm not typing, then I prefer to use a pencil because I make too many mistakes. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. So.
I have a violin, but the bow is broken.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's a $20 bow. I'll go buy another one, but it's kept me from practicing.
And then you should, if you have the means to do so, you should get another one to practice. And then maybe we could talk about music at some point. All right, let's see. Pen. I've tried a pen once and it ended up smearing. Yeah, I sometimes write with pens if it's the only thing available, but yeah, it smears, so it can be frustrating. Hello. Question. Are you planner? Like, do you paper planner or digital? I would like to be a planner, but I'm not. So.
I'm a pantser. I will plan on occasion, and when I do, it's all paper. I might have one of my planning books near me. I tend to have all of them, but I don't know. You guys might be kind of bored with me showing my books.
I mean, as I've mentioned, a nerd, so I mean, I'm probably never gonna say no to being shown a book. So
I just don't want to be pushy on screens. So yeah, I do have the book. So it's got a map. And yes, it's a bunch of leaves.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, that looks like a bunch of leaves. That's actually really cool.
I decided I was going to do an island type map, and I found leaves. So I was like, hey, we'll make that work. And it's a hard magic. Well, it's actually a law magic system. It's just that hard that without it, the whole world doesn't govern. And like I do stuff like writing the money system and writing the hierarchy system. It's all about magic in this hierarchy system. So the more magic you know, the higher you are. But if you know the magic completely, because it's a name magic. So if you know the magic completely, then you're actually you disappear.
Oh, cool.
I can't tell you more without spoilers, but
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let's see. Next question. She has a blog about anyone else. I don't. When I was younger, I had some sort of blog, but I haven't touched it in forever, and it was nothing special. So.
I'm very old school. I have Facebook, I have Twitter. I do have a quote website. It has my if you choose to look up like www.kathrynfaye.com, you'll find it, and it looks very blog style. But I just haven't written it in years, and it needs to be changed. But that was about it.
Okay. Oh, also, Kashay. Is that how you pronounce your name? I'm sorry. I'm like bad with names. Did I give you Kashay? Sorry, Kashay. Okay. Sorry, I am terrible with names. Like actually terrible with names. So, did you answer this question? Sorry if I moved on too quickly to the next question.
So you mean like bullet journaling type of planning, right? Is what this question is asking. I'm thinking, like, are you a planner, right? Not like a plotter question.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I try to be. I really do. Like, I'll sit down and I'll fill stuff in, and then a month later I'll remember that I did it for the last month. It's like, oh, I should probably do that again. That is the extent of my like actually paper planning stuff. Now, digital planning, I do like a digital calendar, but that's like for like meetings. So not as much as like I want to be though. Like it looks so nice and relaxing to me.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm very similar. I want to be more of a planner, but if I'm honest with myself, I'm not. I think when it comes to digital planning, my Pinterest board is about as it's about as planning as I get when it comes to books.
I think this is the closest I've gotten. This was supposed to be my book's journey as it was going through the publishing phase with my agent, and that's probably about the biggest I've gotten. I don't really plan it. My husband does all the planning. He's the one who makes sure everything's written down. He does that digitally. I don't. He's big into the digital stuff.
Let's see. Stephanie says, I almost got a degree in psychology, didn't finish the last 2 terms, got divorced 2014. Psychology sounds interesting. I feel like that would be a really neat degree. Let's see. Major involved with writing though, because I do it the most and want to go into it. That's awesome. Let's see. Computer programming is interesting but tricky. I took a class on it in high school and enjoyed it and passed it, but I struggled at times since my brain doesn't work that way all the time. Well, as someone who sometimes does coding, sometimes my brain doesn't even work that way. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things you have to be in the mind set for. Like, yeah. It's not like writing. Like, I can wake up and write. I can't wake up and code. Like, I gotta wake up, have my coffee, do a few other things. Like, I gotta get into a coding mood. I gotta be in, like, especially because I'm big on Sublime. Like, I love that as a text editor. So I'm like big on all the colors and stuff. But I have to have my brain ready to look at that screen. Like, it's not at all like a blank writing page.
Yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from with that.
My husband says he knows enough about computer programming to get himself in trouble, and he used to work for a computer repair shop based on that kind of stuff. So he knows more now. Yeah, I know how to get viruses on a computer. So I mostly just say, hey, I want this, and he finds it for me, so I don't have to put a virus on the computer. My laptop literally has no internet because we try to keep, and it's just because I find something and go, hey, let's do this. I'm just not. My mom taught me how to take a computer apart, like an old tower computer, and upgrade the motherboard and the memory, but that's about all I've got. I don't really do much more in the programming side.
Okay. Sorry if my responses are like not very good. I'm starting to get a little bit fatigued now.
It's understandable.
My coffee's almost gone.
Yeah, no, my boyfriend is definitely more of the physical computer type of person. Like, he installed my wire. Well, he walked me through how to install my wireless and Bluetooth card into my desktop because he was like, no, you need to know how to do this. No, I really don't. Like, this is what I have you for. This is why we're in a relationship. So you can do these. Like, no, I don't need to know how to do them.
Yeah, that's kind of like me in cars. My husband's like, how do I do this? And I'm like, oh, here, let me show you. I sold cars, so I sold them. I learned how to take them apart, put them back together. So
That's
me
cool.
in cars.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about cars, but when it comes to computers, I know quite a bit about the actual hardware and the physical computer itself, given that I'm an electrical engineer. And then when it comes to computer programming, I know some of that too. So
yeah, all my friends who were EEs were double major EEs and CEs. So, because I was a PE major, I was petroleum engineering when I started college. So I was like really big into the engineering school, and everybody who was electrical engineer could fix my computer. I was like, yes.
yeah, sorry. My family thinks, well, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but sometimes I'm treated like personal IT, and I'm like, okay.
Oh. No, and you know what's funny is when you realize that people don't know how big IT is, because my family always wants to bring their computer to me. And I'm like, I can install stuff and delete stuff. Like, I'm not doing all that extra. That's not me. I am not the hardware person. I am the software person. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah. My husband gets calls from the teachers that he usually works with, even during the pandemic of all things. And I'm like, no, go. I don't want to, like, I'm high risk. Don't expose me to this stuff, you know? And they're all like, can you help? Can you help? So he's getting called frequently. And then people found out that he edits my videos on my YouTube channel. So now they all want him to edit stuff. I'm like, guys, there's a pandemic out here.
And editing's a lot of work.
Yeah, and they're taking them away from me. And I'm like, guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to be so I don't want to be so selfish with my husband, but it's like I are you paying him? You paying him?
Let's see. You all have cool majors. Yeah, you do too. I think, yeah, I feel like all of the majors mentioned so far are really interesting. So let's see. Question: are you a cat person or a dog person? Personally, I'm a dog person. I have two lovely dogs. So actually, one of them is by my feet right now. He's super cute. Do you want to go on camera, baby? Oh, okay. Mama got you. Want to say hi? Don't lick my face, please. Hey, baby, want to say hi to Mama?
Oh, too cute.
Yeah, this is Kuma. He's a Shih Tzu. Oh, okay. You want to just sit on my lap? Okay. All right. I think he wants to chill on my lap for a little while. Or do you want to go back down again? Oh, okay. He's laying down on my lap right now. So, cute cats. I just looked back at the camera, and you have a really cute cat. So, all right.
His name is Ashron Parthenopaeus, and he's a Maine Coon. So technically, I'm both cat and dog. Maine Coons are known for their dog-like personalities. He plays fetch. He goes on a leash, and he goes for baths.
Okay.
They also range from 10 to 30 pounds. So big cat. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So your cat is bigger than Kuma. Kuma is 7 pounds. So
he is 10 pounds. He's actually a mini Maine. So he's a small boy. But he's still bigger than a lot of dogs. I know. I woke him up.
Kuma's telling me that I have not given him enough attention in the last hour, so oh, my baby. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, and then Piku is my other Shih Tzu. Oh, what are you? Sometimes he tries to crawl onto my shoulder for some reason. I don't want you to get hurt, my baby. I don't want you to get hurt. You're my baby. Okay. All right, Mama's gonna put him down now. Now, come on. Let's get him down. Oh, good boy. Sorry about that. All right. So, Kashay, I think you mentioned that you had a dog earlier, if I remember. So I'm assuming you're a dog person.
I'm a dog person. I also have 2 dogs. My dogs are not at all little enough to get on my lap, so I'm not putting them up here at all. Y'all just have to catch them in a vlog or something, because yeah, they are.
Come on, they don't need that.
Well, Kuma wanted backup on my lap. He kept trying to jump up, and he's too small to actually. Sorry, I'm like halfway in the camera, and he's too small to actually jump up, so I had to help him up. I feel like he can't make up his mind if he wants to be on my lap or not. Like, I put him on my lap, he wanted down, but then he was down, and now he wants back up on the lap. So, all right, you want to just chill here? All right, he's just gonna chill on my lap. So if I look down every now and then, that's why, because I want to make sure he doesn't fall off my lap. Because you're one of my babies, and I want you to be safe. Yeah. All right. Anyway. So, Stephanie, are you a dog or a cat person? And if you've already answered and I haven't gotten to that comment because I'm behind on comments, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just went up in the last 3 StreamYard comments.
It's okay. We're here till 5, so we've got like another hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, Stephanie, when you said you'd ask questions, thank you. You've actually been asking quite a few questions. All right, let's see. All right. Mama has to use her hand now. Okay. All right. I love both animals, but I love dogs more since I grew up with dogs. I think I'm a dog person. I mean, I love all animals. So cats are cute too, but I guess if I had to choose, I would be a dog person because dogs.
And I'm allergic to cats, so there's that.
If I had to choose, it would be horses because I grew up around them. But I live in the city. I live in Baltimore, so I cannot have a horse. Cannot have a horse in Baltimore. At least not where I'm at. I'm in like smack dab city. So.
Okay.
And they didn't want any animals larger than 30 pounds, so the Maine Coon was the thing.
Okay. Okay, my baby. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Question: do you have a writing routine? Has the pandemic changed that routine? I do not have a writing routine, and the pandemic personally has not really changed my writing routine because I still work full time. So,
I'm technically a night owl writer, but when I had my business, I had to kind of close my business due to the pandemic, but I used to write during the daytime. Now I've gone back to the nighttime, and my writing routine is just whenever I pick up my pen and write during the night.
I do have a writing routine. It has changed. I've incorporated kind of like a second routine. So I have like a morning or daytime writing routine, and a nighttime writing routine now. When I didn't have that before the pandemic, because like I kind of had like daytime stuff in the day and then I'd write at night. So
I should really develop a routine. I feel like I would end up writing more if I actually stuck to a routine. I really, really need to do that.
It does help you to be more intentional with your writing. So
I can definitely do that.
I think that's what changed the most is when I had an actual writing or working schedule. If I think I was talking to you about that earlier, how if I went to another state, I would audit the place I needed to audit at the state that I was in at the time, and then I would sit down at a coffee shop and I'd write till probably 12 or 1. It really depends on the audit. Some audits took 12 plus hours to finish, and then some were just like 30 minutes. It really just depends. But a lot of times I would set from like 8 in the morning to 3, and then I'd pick up my husband unless he had his car with him. But that was about my writing routine. Now it's kind of I can do whenever. So
okay. Yeah, I feel like I should just set like 1 or 2 hours every night at a particular time that I write and just make that my routine. But haven't done that yet because after work, sometimes I want to watch Netflix or play video games. So
You can give yourself an hour or so to play video games and then write 2 hours. You have to set a timer.
I think my problem is I start video games and then it's like 2:00 in the morning and then I'm like, oh, I have to go to bed so I can actually get up for work. So
yeah, no, I can easily play a video game for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Getting up for work is important. That is definitely called adulting. Good for you.
Yes. I do adulting the best. Not really.
What is adulting? I don't know anymore. I pay my bills. There we go. That's adulting.
Yeah.
I pay my bills.
I as of recently have a full-time job and I pay my bills. And yeah, so
that's adulting. There you go.
and I'm responsible for 2 little dogs. So
yeah.
And you said you recently graduated, right? Like
yes.
recently, right?
Well, yeah, like I graduated last December, so I guess it's not like that recent.
No, it's still recent.
Within a year.
Yeah, my first year, it was still recent. The reason I say that is because like it is amazing the shift in time when you go from being a college student to like working in your field, because like you think you have all the time in the world because you thought about everything you did in college. It was like, oh, I balanced this and this and then all I gotta do now is go to work. Then 40 hours stress you out. You be tired. It changes everything. I feel like, you know how like everyone says there should be like a class on adulting in high school. There should be like a class on adjusting to life after college before
No, right?
college, because they do not prepare you for that part of it like at all.
I would definitely agree with that.
I sadly have to say that I was adulting when I was 12. And learning how to pay bills before I was 18. But it made it easier because my husband had, you know, when he moved out with me, that was his first time away from his family. So I just, you know, I took care of most of the stuff and adulted that way. And then we've all adjusted, and that's good.
Yeah, no, I got emancipated. So, like, I've legit had my own apartment since I was a junior in high school, like paying bills. So not that part. Is the difference of being a college student and then working in the field that you went to school for is completely different. That's what I was talking about more to Mo, because her being an electrical engineer, like, I know how like involved you have to be on campus. While you're still trying to get good grades, and most engineers it's like a 5-year program because of everything they're doing. So that's why I was like, just kind of like low key encouraging her, because I know I could be like, yo, I went through the exact same thing. I was another December graduate, so like my whole new year was my like first time in it. I'm just saying,
Everyone
girl,
understands.
I've been there. When you were talking about playing the video games and stuff, I was like, oh, that's her decompressed time. That's her decompress from this corporate world life. Like, that's what that is. I just remember those days so well. So I could like see it on your face when you started talking about it. And I was like, let me tell her that we all go through that. Like that.
Okay, awesome. And to comment on something that you had said earlier about like most engineers do 5 years. I'm like, yeah, like 4-year degree where? Like when?
People talk about engineers and I'm like, yo, I might not have finished my engineering degree, but I did not forget how hard that major was. Like, no. It is a process, because and it's like it's hard. It is hard. Like it is.
And I spent so many hours on campus, and then I had to go home and do school and homework, and then I also had a job at the time. So yeah.
Like
all
the engineers I know were like active in at least 2 organizations.
Yes.
They all either got internships most summers or were like working during the school year. So
research, stuff like that. Yes.
That's exactly how I was as an undergrad. So when I graduated, I was like, oh yeah, no, this working 40 hours a week is gonna be a piece of cake. No, it wasn't. It was not. It was a complete life change.
Yeah, it's working in the professional environment is definitely a change for me. But I don't know. I guess for me, I do think that 40 hours a week is at least somewhat less work than I was doing before. But I still need that decompressed time and that video game time.
Because
So
it's just a different type of work. Like it's
yes,
it's different.
yes,
Like
you're right about that.
the best part I think about school is the ability to be solitary, because work does not allow that. Like you do have to learn how to deal with people and deal with their like opinions and everything else. It's like, no, I really just want to do my calculations and get done with my job for the day.
Exactly. And I think, yeah, my biggest struggle has just been learning how to deal with other people, especially since A, I'm an introvert, or at least I think I am, and B, I'm very socially awkward. So again, sorry if I accidentally interrupt or say something that's weird, or I'm probably one of the most socially awkward people I know. But I feel like a lot of engineers and just a lot of there's a lot of people who are socially awkward. But yeah, I'm super socially awkward. So if that hasn't been obvious already.
I think you're fine.
I think you're doing fine.
Okay, well,
You're doing a great job.
I'm an extrovert, and most people say that my attitude can be pretty abrasive at times because I'm one of those extroverts that tends to be right in your face. You know, you need something done. Oh, here I am. I can do it. And I actually, funny thing, I started at a Starbucks years and years ago, and the guy looks at me, one of the workers, and says, "You have a cop attitude." I'm like, what is that? Apparently that's just how I am, is I'm very abrasive and very we do it this way. The manager and I did not get along. We both had the same attitude. So
okay. I could
no
see
nonsense.
how that might clash, but at the same time, I feel like you're the kind of person from how you describe who like just like can easily just get something done, like involving other people, and can just like, I don't know. Sorry if I'm just explaining this completely wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, I always tell people the problem is that corporations want extrovert, but they're not prepared to deal with an extrovert. We talk a lot. We like to be around a lot of things. We like the action. We don't like when people say, sit down. I've had so many people tell me, how can you do 5 to 10 tasks at one time? You need to do one at a time. And I'm going, no, I can't. I can do all of these and get them done. And it's just so frustrating because I've been written up over that. I'm like, you hired me to do this. Why are you getting mad at me now?
Yeah, I never really thought about that because, like, as someone who considers themselves more introverted, I've always kind of wished I was more extroverted because I feel like that would help me more in a professional setting when I have to work on a team. I guess my saving grace is that luckily I work with other engineers who, not all of them are introverts, but I feel like a lot of engineers that I've personally met are introverts. So luckily they understand, but. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I was more extroverted, but
I wish I was more introverted. I've told my husband several times, I wish I was more like you. He's a big introvert. And I'm like, because people might, quote, like me more because I'll be quiet and more reserved, and I'm not. And I think it blows people away half the time.
yeah.
It's funny how it's the whole grass is greener on the other side.
Right.
So like I'm like the middle between you two. So I'm definitely an introvert. People think that I'm an extrovert because being an international business major, you're required to be an extrovert because you're required to be able to deal with different types of people. And because I was the business side of computer science, as a business major, you have to be able to deal with people. So like I could program and code with the computer science people, but they were way more like, no, we don't talk to humans.
I understand that crowd completely.
And I was like, I mean, yeah, but you kind of got to talk to people too sometimes. So let's work on those people skills just a little bit, guy. Like just a tiny bit. And
What
as
is
you know, like, right, and as you know, like it's a completely like male dominated thing. So it also was like not only am I extrovert, but I'm also a girl, and it's like, why is she talking to me right now? Well, because like I kind of gotta talk to to you to get this project done. Like, that's kind of how things work at this point. So yeah, no, that is what I hate though. I hate that because I have to be extroverted. People assume that I just want everybody in my face and this.
Yeah.
No, I still like my space. I still like to be quiet and like, no, don't bother me. It's okay. You don't have to call me. You could send that in an email. That could have been a text message. Like, I'm still one of those people.
Yeah, I'm also not a party girl. I don't go clubbing, and I think it's really funny when people are like, "Oh, extroverts don't read and write," and I'm going, "Oh yeah, we do. I mean, we do."
Yeah, I find that I guess I didn't realize that was a stereotype, but if that's a stereotype, that
It is.
seems weird because it's like it's not just introverts who do like writing and stuff. Like
It seems like a lot of writers are introverted, and I can understand. It's a very isolating type of career. So, I mean, most writing is done by yourself. It's not like you're around other people. So I can understand why it's a stereotype, but it always rubbed me the wrong way when they say, "Oh, you can't be an extrovert. You don't go to parties." Well, no, I get headaches. Why do I want to go to some place that's going to hurt me?
yeah. And not all extroverts are party people.
No.
Or at least I'm assuming it would be weird to say all. I don't know. I guess I'm the kind of person who doesn't like saying all X are like
Yeah.
Y. I just like because
I don't like generalizations at all.
Yeah. It gets really frustrating about generalizations. Yeah.
yes. So, all right. Let's see. Storm. Oh, okay. That was the YouTuber. Wow, I'm so behind on comments. Okay, you're fine. I'm still here. Well, hopefully you're still here.
I don't think we chase people.
All right. I plan with paper mostly, but I write as a pantser.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think planning with I do think I would say I plan more with paper than digitally, and yeah, I would consider myself pantser as well. So right there with you. All right, let's see. I also play tenor sax. Ooh, that's cool, which is fun. I only own a flute though. Sadly, if they weren't so expensive, I would buy one as well as a few others. Instruments are so expensive. Like the good ones.
Is a guitar. The only thing I have is a guitar, and I've had it for almost a decade. Like, it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I feel like instruments are so expensive. Or maybe it's just me.
When I was growing up, my parents were like, "Okay, where do you want to go?" I went straight to choir, and so I was taught as an operatic second soprano because my voice is free.
You're so lucky you can sing. I have always wanted to be able to sing, but I cannot sing. I would not be able to sing to save my life. My singing voice sounds so terrible. It's bad. It's really bad. So it would probably be turned into a meme. It's that kind of bad.
a lot of people say that their singing voice is terrible, and I'm like, is it really? Because I want to hear it. Because trust me, I've seen people say they can't carry a tune in a bucket, and they find out, oh, wait, I can.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I've never officially been told by anyone who knows what they're doing when it comes to singing that I sound terrible, but I think I sound terrible. So
I think I sound terrible, and I was trained professionally. So it's okay. It happens. I think we're just our worst critics with everything. Now that I've filled chat.
I feel so behind on these comments. Okay.
It's okay.
You're fine.
Luckily we actually have like something to talk about though. I was a little worried that because especially since I am a bit introverted and it is so late, I was a little worried that it would just be like awkward silence. So okay, let's see. I plan on paper, but I write digitally. I'm a pantser. Welcome to the club. Like,
I prefer the term discovery writer. I think it sounds more elegant. I'm an elegant
discovery writer is fun. There was a writing excuses episode that talked about the difference between discovery writer and plotter, and it was you're going to take a vacation. So a plotter is going to literally map out their course. They're going to make sure they've got everything accounted for, and then it's going to be down to the letter so that when they drive, they don't have to question. A discovery writer first walks around all the cars and says, which one am I taking? So they pick one car out of a sea of 20 or so, and then they just drive, and they'll figure it out as they go.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good description. Yeah. I'm definitely not the person who plans everything out exactly. Like, I don't know. And yeah.
So if I were using that analogy, it's like I know where I want to end up and I know where I want to stop on the way there. I just don't know what's going to happen in between. Like, that's it. Like, that would be how I would do it.
That's kind of how my husband and I do it when we go visit my parents in Tennessee. Of course, we can't this year, but we know where we're starting, we know where we're going, and then we pick out museums along the way because we love museums. We're big into it. Plus, we see them during Christmas, so then you've got the light stuff going on, and we take, because it's a 12-hour trip, so we actually take stops as we're going.
That sounds really fun.
He had to teach me how to do it because I grew up military and it was very much point A to point B, although he's military too. His family must have done something different, but my parents were very much point A to point B, and you only stop to maybe 2 or 3 times for bathroom break, and that's it. So he taught me how to be more spontaneous and not so grueling.
Let's see. Stephanie says, I have a plum paper planner, but I'm moving into a bullet journal. I share a Google Calendar with my husband for appointments. I've tried bullet journaling. At the beginning of this year, I actually tried it. And at first, it was like, I feel like it was really nice. Like, I tried really hard on all of the pages. It was great. And then it just turned into chicken scratch. So...
At least you
make YouTube videos about this, and then I was like, nope, it's too bad now.
At least you remember yours, because then I was like, oh, I did start a January 2020 bullet journal, didn't I? It's October, and I haven't looked at it again.
I don't know if the one behind me is 2019 or 2020. I just don't. I share a Google Calendar with my husband because he's like, it's a must. We're both Capricorns. He just seems to be more on the structured Capricorn than I am, apparently.
Ironically, I'm a Leo, so like everyone, like whenever I hear like stereotypes of Leos, I'm like, oh, okay. Was I born in the wrong month?
Well, you also have to look at the other signs. Like, I'm Capricorn with Aquarius rising and Scorpio midheaven, and then there are 10 other houses that all make up your characteristics. So even though I'm a workaholic Capricorn, Aquarius is very creative, and then you've got Scorpios, which are secretive and wear masks all the time. And that's also kind of stereotypical, but those are kind of your general, what you think of when you hear them. So the best thing to do is to look, get your obviously your full name, the date and time you were born, as well as your location down to the latitude and longitude. Most people just put their city, and then you can put that on the computer, and something will actually give you an entire chart, and you can. Yeah, you can look into that. Like, I use CoStar and a few others, and because each house tells you more about your personality.
Okay, is that the whole? Is it called like rising moon or rising sun or something like that? Because I think because I was curious one time, so I think I did what you're talking about. I think I got Aries as like a rising sign or something, maybe. I don't really remember. So
yeah, the main ones that I remember the most about my chart is my first sign, which is Capricorn. That's my sun. I believe it's also my moon, believe it or not. It might be that or Sagittarius, I'm not sure. And then I've got my rising, which is the Aquarius, in the midheaven. Those are those are three very significant houses, but you do also have the other houses. So it's really interesting to look into. And my grandmother was very into the astrology. She even did a birth chart for me. So when she passed away, she gave me her astrology books, and so I continued it to be close to her. So,
Okay.
that's why I like astrology so much.
Cool. Kashay, if you don't mind, what's your sign, if you know it?
Okay, so I am a Sagittarius, and almost all of my houses are Capricorn. It's odd, actually. I want to say like 6 of the different things in the chart were Capricorn, and I was like, "What does this mean?" And like, because I don't know anything about it, and I was like doing it with my siblings, and they're like, "Oh," like as I was like reading it, and I kept, and they're like, Capricorn again, and I was like, "What does that mean? What does that mean?" They're like, "No, I don't. I don't like the way that sounds." No.
Capricorns aren't bad. They are workaholics. They're also, which can be very bad. It really just depends on how you view it. They are also very ambitious. They are very much into, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, let me put the steps together to make it. Let me do the correct investments, blah, blah, blah. They're very frugal with their money. They make sure that they know exactly what they want, when they want. And like with relationships, they're very hard to get into a relationship. But once you're in a relationship, you're very loyal. And the problem is if you piss off a Capricorn, they pretty much burn your bridge. They're kind of hard to get into. They're pretty strict, but I mean, they're also once they're your friend, they're pretty loyal. And it's hard to. I've only burned 3 friends, and they deserve everything that happened to them.
So speaking of houses, sorry if this is a little off topic, but if y'all have read or watched Harry Potter, what are your Hogwarts houses, if you know?
I have no idea because I've never read or watched Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. All right.
Don't shoot me. But I've never read or watched it, so I have no idea.
That's okay. I mean, I've never like watched Game of Thrones except for like 1 episode or maybe 2 or 3. I don't remember. It was like something in the middle of the season. So I mean, not the middle, the beginning of the first season. So when people talk about that, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So sadly, she's a very controversial topic nowadays.
I know.
I'm
sorry if not trying to offend anyone by.
I'm not offended. I just wish she didn't do what she did. That's about the best thing I can say. I grew up with the books because, like, the character Harry's my husband's age, so we literally grew up because he's only 3 years older than me. We literally grew up with them. We're both 80s kids, and I'm kind of a Slytherin Gryffindor. I do both.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm in between Slytherin and Ravenclaw, and I'm not sure which one I am. So, yeah, it is disappointing that she's so controversial right now. I just because I grew up with Harry Potter. Harry Potter was like my favorite thing ever, and I still talk about it because just out of habit because I still enjoy it. But I guess sorry I didn't.
Oh no, I was saying that in case anyone got upset in chat. I was like, well, it is like that. They might get upset. For me, I own all the books and all the movies. I just won't give her any more new money. I look at it that way. So I still like the books and the movies. I'm just not going to give her new stuff because
that makes sense.
That's how it is.
Makes sense. Yeah.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, and I really was not trying to offend anyone. So if I did, I am very, very sorry. So
I'm not seeing anyone offended, but
yeah, but you are right. It is a controversial topic right now, and she has said some things that are.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody, and this is me speaking up, just I don't think anybody should be offended because one, you asked about the houses, and we were talking about like where you fit in personality wise. Yeah. So that, and it didn't have anything to do with that person and what she did. Yeah, you are fine.
Okay.
You are good.
I'm not upset. Don't worry. I'm not upset, nor am I offended.
Yeah, you are fine. That was a perfectly rational question to ask. You're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. And if I accidentally say anything, please educate me because anyway, I am open to being educated and I'm sorry if I'm not educated on anything. So anyway, just
it's okay.
putting that out there.
I already said I'm an abrasive person, so I know I rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, sometimes I can be a very blunt person because I tend to, I don't know, maybe I think in a black and white way or very yes or no or
I'm right
either
there.
Or I don't know, sometimes sometimes I just say things. I don't know. Anyway, it's not my intention to accidentally offend anyone, and I am deeply sorry if I do. And please educate me again.
I don't think you did. I'm looking on chat, and it doesn't look like people care. It looks like they're just naming their houses.
All right, and and I'm also just if anyone in the future if they watch this stuff like that. So anyway,
that's the only reason why I said it was in case anyone in the future got upset, and I was like, well, we'll just address it that it's we're not offended, but this is
yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all good though.
All right, let's see. How many languages can you speak? Oh, sorry. I'm kind of just moving on to the next question. Stephanie asks, how many languages can you speak? I'm only fluent in English, but I speak a little bit of French, and I've studied several other languages like Arabic, Russian, Turkish, and Swedish. So.
3.
Oh, wow.
I do sign language.
Oh, yeah, you've already mentioned that.
You don't speak it, but it's still another language.
Yes.
Also, ich spreche fließend Deutsch. I lived in Germany, and I learned how to speak German at the same time I learned how to speak English. So I sometimes talk like I'm Yoda, because in Germany, everything's flipped. The verb is at the end of the sentence. It gets very interesting. It's like, Jack to the store, he ran.
Okay.
So
it's cool that you can say that you speak 3 languages. Yeah, I wish I could at least say that I speak 2, but I'm not good enough with French yet to be able to say that. So
it's been hard. I've lost a lot of German, so I can speak it, I can read it, but I don't really consider myself fluent anymore because it's just been a long time.
That makes sense.
My husband and I do sign language because that is our thing. So. And that's the first thing we're going to teach our babies whenever we have them, because kids actually understand hands before they understand, speaking. So.
And I'm fluent in English, haha. And I speak a little Spanish, but I'm working to be fluent. I'm thinking about going and living in a Spanish-speaking country for a little while. So
cool.
Myself in it, because that's honestly the only way you'll be fluent is constantly speaking it. So.
Okay. Living in another country, I feel like would be a great experience.
It's fun. When I lived in Egypt, I learned how to speak Arabic, but I don't count that as a language I know because I was there for 6 weeks. I spoke enough to speak to the locals, but I come back to the States and I'm like, what? I know Iowa and Ohio, and those are actually words in the Egyptian Arabic, but that's only because we've got states here that have those.
Yeah, I studied abroad when I was an undergrad, and I was like, yeah, I definitely got to get back out of the country for a little while. Like, I need to visit and see other places.
I feel like it would be neat to go overseas. I haven't done that yet, so.
Hopefully this whole thing we'll find some solution and we'll be able to go back, because I'd love to go back to Germany. I mean, that's kind of my homeland. Even though I was born here in the States, I grew up and know mostly Germany. So
okay, I feel like it would be cool to go to Japan. So
My brother
Yeah.
can tell you about it.
Japan and South Korea are like on my list of places to go.
Nice.
So-
I have a friend who lives in South Korea because he teaches English there.
cool. I think that would also be a really neat experience, going to a foreign country and then teaching the language and then being able to experience their language and their culture. I
have
feel like I would love that.
5 different friends who did that after college, like went to other countries to teach English. And so that's what definitely got me interested in South Korea, because so many of them, that is exactly where they went.
That's because in South Korea, they want you to have a bachelor's in anything. They don't even care. They just want a bachelor's and that you know how to speak English. And then you can go there and get a teaching license and teach. I mean, you could have a bachelor's in clown college, unless they've changed things. But that's what my friend said. All you need is a bachelor's and can speak English. You go over there and you can teach them. So they just want to make sure you can teach.
Makes sense. Yeah, that would be a really neat experience. Also, Stephanie, if you ever get to your answer at the end of the comments, how many languages, wow, if I could English, how many languages do you speak? At least I think I'm fluent in English. So yeah. And then also just posing that question for everyone in the comments. I feel like I'm so behind on comments. I don't even know if I want to
The Naked Firefly says that they know 7 languages.
7 languages? Okay, where is that comment? I need to find that comment.
Yeah, she's also a military child. So,
English, Swahili, Somali, French, Japanese, German, Korean, and Chamorro.
Nice.
I feel like I'm butchering that. I need to Google that. I didn't actually, maybe it's my ignorance, but I didn't actually know that. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation.
No, I think you said it right. Tomorrow. I think you said it right.
Tomorrow? Okay. Let's see. Rusty on some of these, but refreshing myself while I'm here in Germany. Awesome.
Nice.
That's really, really nice. So now that we're down here, let me just just skipped it down here. I'll go back up and anyway, let's see. I've attempted to learn Italian and French, and it's been okay, but I know more Spanish since I've studied it more. All right. I feel like Italian would be a cool language.
I should learn Italian since I'm Italian Polish. The only reason why I didn't get a chance to learn Italian was my grandmother and her family came over from Sicily, and they were like, "We're American. We speak English now." Because they came over during Ellis Island, and they had all the hard time of being, immigrants, and so
That's bad.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to learn Italian from my grandmother, and she refuses to this day. So I need to go back and actually speak it, because it'd be great. Speak the language of my country.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's see. Stephanie says my autistic daughter used sign language when she was super little before she did speech therapy. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I find that's actually very handy because kids, like I said, kids learn about your kid's crying and they don't know how to speak, but they know how to do sign language. They could tell you if they're hungry. They could tell you if they're thirsty. They could tell you if they stink, because kids are very smart with their hands when they're younger. It's odd, but they've done studies on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'm not super knowledgeable on that, but I guess it makes sense. So let's see. If music is a language, then English, music, and I've been learning Spanish. Yeah, if music is a language, then you can put violin for me. So let's see.
I don't know if you guys are computer programmers or engineers, and 2 more languages. Probably CC, which is computer, and math. Math is a universal language.
Oh, if we consider those kind of languages, then I know quite a few, like VHDL, C,
Sharp, C++,
JavaScript,
Java.
Right.
No. There are some places, especially in certain job resumes, that consider those languages, because computers are
No,
the
they
thing.
do on my resume.
Yeah.
They don't consider them spoken languages. Like, yeah, on my resume, I list every language I know, like computer programming wise. But if I were to put that in the chat, wouldn't nobody but Mo know what I was talking about?
I feel like some people wouldn't know. I was thinking the question was geared towards spoken languages, so that's why I didn't consider math or like specific programming languages. So
It makes sense. I consider it sign language because it is,
well,
for all intents and purposes, it is spoken. They just don't speak often.
And it's a completely different language. There are dialects. There's a British sign language that is different.
Oh my God, there's a dialect.
Like, and then according to listening to Kat, like there's African American sign language, so there's a completely different
Chinese sign language
that we talk than other Americans. So it's a thing. So no, it's definitely a language.
There's also a lot of accents. Like I was taught by two professors. One was native to Colorado because I was in Colorado at the time. The other one was native to New York, and she had different signs than we did because there's actually different accents and dialects. And then you also have it's not ESL because that's English second language, but you have offshoots. You have like proper ASL, and then you've got like a short-term ASL. It's very interesting, the certain things that are there. My mother-in-law is really big into teaching us about all the vast amount of it.
Sorry, I'm kind of currently speed going through some of these comments so I can slowly catch back up. So sorry, Dolores, if A, I'm butchering your name, and B, I didn't see this comment whenever you posted it, so I'm really, really sorry. I don't really know how to answer that question at the moment. Thank you for joining, and if I didn't say hi to you, hi, how are you? Yeah, thank you. Let's see, cat person. Oh, am I back? Oh, here's some more questions. Okay. There was one comment down here that I definitely want to, where is it? If I can read. Let me just.
It's so tired. You're so tired. You can't read anymore.
I know, I'm like words. Okay. Well, I think the comment said, adulting is Googling things. Yes. Yes, it is. Wow, for some reason I can't find it. Okay.
I always love people's faces when I look at them and say, oh yeah, I didn't have a phone until I was 18, 19 years old. And my parents' first phones were the walkie-talkie looking. They were like really large with the big antennas. And my first computer was a Commodore 64 and an Apple II. And people are like, what the heck are those? And I'm like, what, you didn't have an 8-track?
I'm sorry if it seems like I'm trying to like go through the comments and listen. So.
You're not that much older than me. You're not that much older than me.
No.
Because like when you were talking about you grew up on Harry Potter and you were born in the 80s, I was like, Harry Potter came out when I was 7 years old. What is she talking about?
No,
like I was like, I legit grew up on Harry Potter. Like you were like a teenager. Like I grew up on Harry Potter. When I was like a child, I was confused.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm
that much older than me.
I'm actually basing it off Harry Potter's age. If you look at the book, it says when he was born. He was born in 83. So that's why I was saying, oh, he's not that much older. Like, we technically grew up on him because we were technically that age. No, that's what I meant. No, I was at least 12 or 13 when he first came out. And that's another reason why I'm like, well, I grew up with him because I was his age when the book came out.
Yeah, no, when it came out, I was not allowed to watch it. That's why when everybody talks about it, I was like, yeah, I didn't get to go. Like, y'all all have the, like, Harry Potter phase from, like, being younger. Like, I grew up when it was, like, super controversial when it came out in the movies, and everybody was boycotting because they didn't want their kids to go see, and did it. Like, I grew up in it moment, you know.
Wait, why are they boycotting it?
Because of the spells. in there, and
Oh,
the like
Yeah, they called it
witchcraft.
witchcraft.
There were a lot of
but
Yeah,
it's fantasy.
when I
So, but when it came out, fantasy wasn't really a genre. Like
Okay.
it has
but
become like because it was more so considered like it was more so considered completely different. Like because for some reason people didn't see it the same as like the wizards that are in what are the other one, the like the ring books,
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
the Lord of the Rings, like they didn't see it the same way as that. But no, like there were like petitions for it to get out of schools. There were like whole youth
Mhm.
groups out protesting at the movie theaters.
Yep.
Like it was a big deal.
Yeah, so it was really funny because when she did get it published, the person who published it only published it because their child liked it, and they literally told her, "Look, I'm going to give you $5,000 for your book because I'm telling you now, nobody wants to read about wizards in school." And like when I first got my books, my brother got me the first four because I literally didn't read them. So he got me the first four first editions, and I was like, "Oh, this cover looks ugly. I don't want to read it." Yeah, when I was growing up, we didn't have young adults. We had kids section and adult section.
Right. Yeah.
That's all.
That was it. Right.
When I was a librarian at 18, 19 years old, that's when we started sectioning off the YA. And I got so confused because card catalog, because yes, we still used the card catalog before the computer. I was like, where do these things go?
Okay. I just learned something new. Sorry, I'm not trying to make y'all feel old. I
Oh, no,
feel kind of young, even though normally I feel old because I am 24. So like sometimes I look at people in high school now, I'm like, damn, I'm old.
Try how you just graduated, wait 5 years, go back to school to get your master's, and then look at the freshman, and then you'll feel yeah, because that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. And I was like, ooh, I'm like a decade older than okay, I'm just gonna sit over here and no. And I look young. So then like I have like the freshman boys come try to talk to me, and I'm like, sweetheart, your mom would try to kill me because she would wonder what I was doing talking to you. Like she would have such a problem with this. So you should probably go somewhere. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't. They don't think like I have to pull out my ID to prove that I'm almost 35 years old. People look at me and they're like, "Nah, you have to be just right out of high school. You have such a baby face." A couple weeks ago, I had one of my friends' moms from high school go, "Hey, you haven't changed in it. You haven't aged in a day since you got out of high school." And I'm like, "Well, thanks."
Yeah, you look younger than I would have guessed. Like if before you told me that you were in your 30s, I would have guessed that you were in between the age of 23 and 26, somewhere in there. So
My father's in his 50s and he looks like he's 30. It's just something in, I guess, our bloodline that makes, like I said, I have to pull out my ID a lot because I'll get people in high school. I've actually had high schoolers hitting on me, and I'm like, dude, I could be your mom. I mean, let's be honest, I could be your mom.
yeah, people tell me I look young too, and it doesn't help that I'm a very petite and small person as well. I'm short and I'm like just small everywhere, just anyway. So some people I think a couple of years ago when I was a sophomore in college, I was asked what middle school I went to. Yeah, that was the thing that happened. And I was like, oh no, I'm a sophomore. And they're like, oh, so what high school? I'm like, I'm in college. I'm in college.
I hate that. Like I would hate when I was walking on campus and other college students would think I was in their tour group or something. I'm like, dude, like I'm about to graduate. Like, are you being serious right now? Like, or when a parent would think that I was like another high school student or something. Like, I had a bus driver stop me one time because he thought that I was trying to like skip out on them heading back to their high school. No, God, like you didn't see me earlier. You have never seen me before. I don't know you. Why? No,
I totally understand.
Yeah, I've had it where when my younger brother was still going to high school, I was out of high school. I would pick him up a lot from school, and I would have teachers go, "Do you need to pass the class, sweetie?" And I'm going, "No, I've already graduated like 4 or 5 years ago because that was around that time." So it's like, no, I don't need to pass the class.
Yeah, one time I went shopping at Walmart and the cashier, whenever I got closer, he got this really strange expression on his face. And whenever I got to him, he was like, I have a question. And I was like, okay. He was like, are you old enough to be shopping by yourself?
That's hilarious. I mean,
how old do you think I am?
I had to show him my ID.
It's like, how old do you think I am? 10?
Right, like how old? Like how old do you think I am, sir?
Right?
Like, do you think I'm 12? Like, because at least if I was, like, you don't even think I'm 16? Like, you don't think I can be in Walmart by myself? What? Come on, guys. Like, yeah.
Well, in his defense, again, I am very tiny. I'm a very tiny, short person, and I'm just tiny everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean everywhere. Like, so I can understand, like, maybe anyway. So I can understand people thinking that I'm like basically a kid. I mean, I can shop in the kids section, so, but I don't want Frozen written all over my t-shirts.
I'm 5'1", and I guess if it wasn't for my big hips at size 40, because I got large hips, then maybe I'd look tinier. I mean, as it is, I am tiny, but I've got the hips that say that I'm not 10.
Well, at least you have hips. Sometimes I wish I did. I'm like, what went wrong?
No, it don't matter. I got hips and cleavage and everything, and I still get asked if I'm. No, y'all. I mean, I know we put a lot of hormones in our food in America, but y'all really think I'm like a kid? Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely.
I'm willing to give away some of my baggage.
I
Mostly
wish.
because when you try to shop for size 40 hips, but your waist is like half that. Well, I'm not in the 20s, but like 30, 32, 33. It doesn't equate. They think that if my waist is small, my hips have to be small. I'm like, honey, no, it doesn't. It does this.
I think buying pants for short people in general is just sucky. Right? Because they don't make pants for short people. Like they just generally don't. Like they're either way too short or way too long.
Yes,
like you either have homemade capris or you gotta make your own sew your own little cuff around. Like one or the other.
Yeah, I tend to just get regular jeans and then roll them up because I find that like even though I'm short and small, like sometimes the pants in the petite section they don't fit right, and sometimes they're just too short. And I'm like, I'm a really short person, and they're too short. What went wrong?
I think the too long.
Wrong. I don't understand. How did y'all get this wrong?
Now, my husband's got an interesting problem because he's over 6 foot tall, and his wingspan from fingertip to fingertip is 6 feet. So he needs like an extra large in the arms and a large in the shoulder broad area. His father's opposite, where he's larger and rounder, so he needs an extra large for the torso, but he's shorter in the arms. So we always make a joke that we'll get the same exact suit and just cut them up and try to redo them so that we have the right stuff for each of them. Because his clothes are always short. They're always short on him.
That sounds annoying. Clothes struggles. Yeah. All right, let's see. Stephanie asks, aside from writing related, do you have a favorite hobby? I would say either violin or I guess things tech related. I really like to just research like computer programming and just techie things on YouTube, or I have some Raspberry Pis and some Arduinos.
So no lie, my boyfriend has a Raspberry Pi on his desk at work. He has programs to just run through my YouTube videos to give me watch time. And I was like, I love you. That's love. That's, that's love right there.
Yes, it is.
For me, it is either one is crocheting. I love to crochet. Like it is such like a fun pastime. The newest thing, so I love reading, but like on the reading part is audiobooks. Audiobooks have like become like my new favorite way to pass time. Like I will listen to an audiobook and crochet for like hours and be like, oh, did I finish that book in that blanket? Okay, that was a good use of my time. Like so those things. And then I love photography. I started a photography business while I was in college to help like pay for my books and stuff. And so like I love to like get out with my camera and just go take pictures randomly. So
Okay, cool.
So I have a lot of stuff I like to do, but my latest one is exercise. I do a lot of weightlifting and belly dancing. I also have a punching bag over there. So I do a lot of exercising.
I really should exercise more. I'm super weak. I need to gain muscle. I have one of my dogs is like 17 pounds, and I think he's heavy. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing.
she was like, there's one of those truth moments for you. There's one of those I'm with it. I'm with it. On what you said though, the violin is like my dream instrument. Like I
It's
like
so much fun.
it. And okay, so do you watch violin covers on YouTube? Because
Yes, I do.
Yes. So
Lindsay
like the first
Sterling.
one I ever saw was like this black guy who did like a cover of Beyonce's of one of Beyonce's songs. And that was the first time I ever seen a violin cover and like I fell in love. And so I just go and watch them randomly. So
You should, if you haven't already started to learn violin, you should. It is an amazing instrument. So, and if you ever want tips or pointers, I would be glad to help you. I actually started playing the violin when I was 6 or 5. So I've been playing for most of my life. So
wow, that is awesome.
yeah.
That's why I bought my violin on sale. It's only a $50 violin. It was on sale. It's a trainer violin, I guess. I never really got around to learning how to play it, but I've got it. The bow.
I recommend it.
Yes, I really want to learn how to do it. Need to go get a new bow.
I mean, I'm not biased at all. Like,
right. Well,
it is the best instrument, though.
You learned to play the violin at around the same time I learned how to sing, at least age-wise.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really need to practice more lately. I have not been practicing, so I'm definitely rusty. But yeah, it's an amazing instrument. So, anyway.
I bet you could make a better sound than either of us would. We'd probably make screeching cat noise sound.
Well, it makes sense if y'all don't know how to play. I mean, if someone asked me to play something on the piano, I would hit random notes.
Well, actually, if we can make the cat sound, we're closer. Because literally, I have seen people try and nothing comes out. It's like you have to hit it in the right area for sound to come out of a violin.
Yeah, it is. You have to be, with the violin, you do have to be quite precise with your fingering. But I don't know, if you practice enough, it's muscle memory, at least for me. So I don't know. Anyway.
See, and so now you have me over here like, I guess I could Google violin teachers, see if we have any here. Maybe that's something I can do.
So yeah, I recommend violin to anyone and everyone because personally, I think it's the best instrument. But
You're like not biased at any moment.
Yeah, and also if it's not clear for the people in the comments, these questions aren't just geared towards us, it's geared towards y'all as well. So if I ever forget to ask the question to y'all in the comments, please feel free to answer, and I'm sorry if I don't get to every comment. I'm really trying. All right, let's see. Oh wait, were we done with this question? Okay.
Oh, sorry, trying to read it.
Okay, let's see. My husband can do both, and we have friends who trade computer help for freshly ground coffee. Oh, okay, that was back in our previous conversation. I'm so behind. All right, IT, hardware. Yeah, I like hardware too. Welcome to the club. I'm a dog person too. Let's see. Where would you build your dream home? Oh, probably on a mountain somewhere. But not too high up, so I could easily drive to get somewhere if I needed to, but just far enough where I didn't necessarily have to have neighbors, and there could be snow and evergreen trees and cute little squirrels.
Yeah, I want at least 10 acres. So where I can get 10 acres, I'm good.
Yeah. I told now I'm gonna try to give my husband's name away too, which is very German, though he doesn't speak German. I told him I wanted to, if we had all the money in the world, like my books became best-selling novels and whatever, I would want to get a place and build a place in Breckenridge, Colorado, in the mountains with the acres so that I could have the horses. The problem is we'd have to have like 2 houses, so we'd have to have a warmer place because he hates the cold. And in Breckenridge, as well as anywhere else close to the Rocky Mountains, when it snows, which is frequent, you can't get to the town. I mean, you're literally, most people have, what do they call it? They have the backup generators. They have backup generators. They normally have sewage of some sort, plumbing system of their own, because when you get stuck, you get stuck. But I like that kind of stuff.
And they probably leave the water dripping too, so the pipes don't freeze, right?
I leave the water, like if this every time I check the weather system, and if we dip below a certain point, I'm always leaving at least one faucet on. And it's just because I was in Colorado for 16 years, so I'm very used to the cold. And what they consider bad weather here is like sunshine for me.
Yeah, that reminds me. So I grew up in Washington State, but I went to school in Louisiana, and I was working at my internship one night, and or one late afternoon, and our boss sent us home early. He said, "Hey, everyone, y'all can leave early today. There's going to be ice on the roads." And it was just a little bit of ice. And again, I'm from Washington. So, I mean, Washington, at least where I was in Washington, because I was close to the coast, near the Seattle area, I guess it doesn't get as cold as some places, but it definitely gets colder than Louisiana. So I am used to more ice than just like a little bit. So I was like, oh, this is the ice? Okay.
So I had a similar story. So I interned in San Antonio because I was interning to be a software developer for a bank down there. And San Antonio is hot. Like, for those of y'all who don't know, who might be watching, San Antonio is like super duper hot. It's dang near Mexico. Like it's like right there, right?
Yeah,
it's very warm.
Ice. They had ice. And people were stuck on like freeways and everything. Like everybody was freaking out. Like there were like helicopters like doing the news and everything. Like it was a huge deal because they had not gotten ice before. Like that was not a thing people were used to. So no, like we're down here because I'm in Oklahoma. So like Oklahoma, Texas area, like yeah. They're not as ready for ice. And it's crazy because in Oklahoma, we get ice and snow pretty regularly. Like not in the last few years, but like growing up as a kid, like I grew up with white Christmases. So it's like y'all should know better by now. But No.
Yeah, I found it weird that in Maryland they don't have ice tires or snow tires. I'm like, or snow chains. Why don't you have plows on your, like they know none of this stuff, and I'm like, but that's essential.
Yeah, I
For me,
once. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
was gonna say
once.
that's just always been essential. It's okay. Sorry.
My bad.
Oh, it's all right.
I once mentioned snow tires, like kind of what you're talking about down in Louisiana. I think someone looked at me like what's a snow tire? Like,
Yeah,
so I had to explain.
I have people that, it doesn't snow as much here in Maryland, sadly, but I'll have people when it does happen. Sorry, I thought I heard my cat. When it does happen, people go, how am I going to get all this snow off? And they see me, go into the back of my car, pull out the long scraper that's the size of a van, and just be able to plow all the snow off my car everywhere.
I have two of those. I didn't really need them in Louisiana, but in Washington, especially in the winter time when I had to get up early for school. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
All right, let's see.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, also, I wanted to ask, did y'all want to end at a particular time? I know we're kind of nearing the 2-hour mark. I don't mind continuing if y'all are open with that. I'm cool with that, but I don't want to, I don't want y'all to feel like y'all have to stay if y'all are tired or something. So.
I will tell you if I need to
Okay.
fall asleep.
Okay.
Personally.
All right. Cool.
The only thing I could think of is if Jessica Williamson comes on and says, you guys need to end. You guys have been talking for too long. It's the only thing I can think of.
If I remember the email correctly, she said that we can talk as long as we want, as long as it doesn't cut into another chat. And I thought they were scheduled 6 hours apart.
Yeah, she wanted to make sure to give everyone time between the two.
Okay. Because I think in the email she mentioned 1 to 2 hours, if I remember correctly, but I think she said that we could talk longer, maybe.
Yeah, she said 1 to 2 hours, but just as long as it didn't happen because it's a 6-hour gap.
Okay. Let's see. Stephanie says I'm a cat person. We don't have pets now, but I'm waiting for the perfect one at the shelter. Oh, you're going to adopt. That's so awesome.
Sorry, my poor phone is not happy with me right now. No, I'm just covering my camera everywhere. Don't mind.
Sorry, I'm like, oh, here's that comment I was looking for earlier. And let's see. And then the naked firefly, I can totally understand moves messing up routines and stuff. So let's see. Sure. I feel like some of these we've already covered, I think. Let's see. Alley Cat. Oh, this was back. She mentioned, or he, I don't actually know if you're a girl or a boy, sorry. Mentioned Libra and Ravenclaw and also Gryffindor. Let's see, Stephanie says Capricorn. Okay. I feel like I might be close to the bottom of the comments. Let's see. Stephanie says I can read Spanish and tell you exactly what it says, but I can't speak it correctly because I can't move my tongue the right way. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I've attempted to speak Spanish a couple of times, and I probably butcher it. So. Okay, some of these we've already gone through. Sorry if I accidentally skip over one we haven't gone through yet, thinking that we did. Let's see, I joke and tell that I speak Swahili from the 17th century because they don't listen at all sometimes. All right, so let's see. Sorry if I am a little bit tired, so sorry if it seems like I'm just kind of quickly going through things. I loved weightlifting at the gym, but I haven't gotten back into a routine in a long while. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I really do need to lift weights. Practice flutes. Guam is where, ooh, okay. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I didn't actually mention like a specific place. I kind of just described a type of place. Okay. The Naked Firefly, if you don't mind me asking, why Guam? Greece or on the Oregon coast? Oh, the Oregon coast is so pretty. Stephanie, have you seen the sand dunes in Oregon? Alley Cat, I'm up for whatever you guys want to do. I don't know where I want my dream home. Not on a hill because I would be worried about falling over if earthquakes were a thing. Okay. Oh, I'm a girl. Okay. So finally at the end of the comments. So sorry if I just like kind of quickly skimmed through some of those. So anyway. Let's see, the Naked Firefly says, because I've lived there before and I felt so connected to Guam. That makes sense. Okay. Cool.
It's like how I am with Germany. I'm very connected to it.
That makes sense.
Don't tell my Polish grandfather.
Let's see, and then Stephanie says, I was born in Tillamook and grew up in the Rockaway in Garibaldi. I'm so sorry if I butchered the last word. Garibaldi? Is that how that's pronounced? Maybe. Maybe I skimmed through the comments too quickly.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, we have been going for 2 hours, so you're fine.
Yeah, it's
True.
yeah, I don't think you need to be hard on yourself. We're doing good.
Okay. Sorry if I keep looking down my dogs. So anyway, yeah, they like to be super close to me. They're lap dogs for sure. Which I mean, they're so cute, so I don't mind.
I think my cat went back into my room. So.
Yeah, my dogs are asleep. They're not paying me no attention. They're knocked out.
My cat has to be with one of us, either my husband or myself, and he doesn't like when doors are closed. So.
Okay. Let's see. Stephanie says, so yes, I've seen the sand dunes. Awesome. For any of y'all who have not seen the Oregon sand dunes, you need to see them. They are gorgeous. They are, in my personal opinion, awesome. So
Oregon is definitely on my states to visit list.
I have ridden Arabian horses in the Sahara near the pyramids.
I feel like you've been so many places.
Military. My older brother's been to more places. I think he's been to 48 countries, I think he said.
Oh, wow. He's so lucky. Man, I so want to just travel to so many different countries, but it's so expensive.
Well, at least he got it paid for, but he had to, it was for his job.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Egyptian thing was actually a graduation present that he gave me for high school. It was. Okay. I had to make sure I did not lose my very expensive calculator. That was the conditions to that rule. I was in calculus. I had to have a special calculator that cost my parents, I think, an arm and a leg, maybe 2 legs. I don't know. Oh yeah, no, it's the Texas Instrument that we all still gotta get in order to get through. Yeah, it's the same calculator.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
We know what calculator you're talking about. Yeah, we know. Yeah, no, we know. We put calculators. Yep. And my mom and my older brother said that as long as I kept it, didn't destroy it, nothing happened to it, then he would take me to Cairo because he knows the ancient Egyptian culture is my favorite culture. I even learned how to read the hieroglyphics and actually translate it to people. Another language I did not
consider when we asked about the language thing.
Okay.
It's so old. I don't know anyone to like talk to unless they're an Egyptologist. But I still have that calculator. And it still works to this day in my house somewhere.
Okay. When I was younger, I was into like ancient Egypt, and I also looked and studied at the hieroglyphs. I don't remember any of them, but I know I was into that for a while. I was like, this is so cool. I want all the information.
Yeah, no, I absolutely adore it. I love it.
So you said so when you're talking about the hieroglyphics, and I was like, since we're talking about dead languages, I studied Latin for 2 years, and it was like my favorite language to
Nice.
it was awesome. Just because like it makes you fall in love with language because everything kind of evolved from Latin, so it's like dope to see like its imprint on every other language.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, I studied. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say the closest thing I've got to Latin is being Catholic, and every now and again you have Latin mass. That's sadly the closest I've gotten to it.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, and I did 2 years of Latin. So
Nice.
yeah. Let's see. My second option would be Dubai. I loved it there. I've been wanting to visit Dubai. That's one of the places that I want. That's like on my list of places to travel to. So the Naked Firefly. It seems like you've been a lot of places, so it would feel like you would be a super interesting person to talk to about all of your travels and stuff like that. I feel like I would just love to talk to you about that. So if you have any cool travel tidbits, please put them in the comments. I would love to know.
I'd love to go to Sicily, mostly because that's where my Italian family's from.
That makes sense.
I can't go to any place I could go to Poland, but I can never go to the place that my grandfather was born in because the Nazis burned down the village. So I have no idea, and now he's sadly passed. So no idea where this is.
That's
I have,
really sad.
yeah, I have our family coat of arms, and that's all I've got. But
sorry about that.
It's okay. The war hit my family pretty hard in that respect, but you know, we soldiered on.
Let's see. So I think that's all of the comments I'm seeing so far. Oh, here's a new one. Yay. Okay, sure. Definitely would love to talk about my travels. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I find just different countries and different cultures so fascinating personally.
Yeah, no, I love it. I recently got into Persian, ancient Persian, because they actually were one of the first cultures that made women literally land owning equals to the men. They could be your generals, they could own your land, like they were literally equal to the men in ancient Persia. And I'm like, ooh, that's fascinating. They were so
Let's see, my dad was military and now a contractor, but my family has always traveled. That's awesome. That's awesome. I've traveled. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying military seems to be one of the easiest ways to travel.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I've traveled a lot within the United States. And I've been to Canada a couple of times. And when I was 7, I went to Mexico. But I only vaguely remember that trip because I was so young.
Yeah, I've been to Greece and I've been to St. Thomas, but that's it.
Nice.
Somalian women were warriors and sailors like their men before colonization. That's really cool.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's really cool. So seeing the world is in my blood. Awesome. You're definitely lucky. So at least with respect to being able to travel so much and being able to just have those cool experiences. So
I feel like I'm so close to the camera.
and I kind of feel like that too, but oh well. So
it's just my angle position on my camera. And then when I look at the comments, I have to lean over. So now I'm real close.
Me too. I have to be like to read it. I'm like, okay, let's see. So, yeah. Y'all get to like see the pores on my skin or whatever. Just don't look.
It's too early to be paying that much attention. It's too early to be paying that close attention to somebody's skin.
Right?
I'm not doing it. It's too early.
Perks of doing a live stream at this time. Wow, it really is. It's already 5 o'clock.
It's 5:12.
Yeah, 5:12. So
for me it's 4. I'm an hour behind y'all. Yeah.
East Coast. So one city that I'm starting to get used to living, but I'm really not a city girl. I'm a rural girl. I mean, I like horses and I like ranches and I like, roping cattle. I'm not really fond of cities. Oh well.
Yeah, personally, I think I like both. I grew up. So I didn't grow up in Seattle. I grew up kind of like in like near Seattle, so in a more like rural area. And yeah, it was really nice. But I guess it was also nice being close enough to Seattle so that I could also kind of experience the city. So
yeah, in Germany, we were in a small town called Augsburg. It was near the Austrian border, and you either took a tram or you walked everywhere. They might have horse-drawn carriages, but the roads were just too narrow for cars. So, but if you go to Germany, you'll find most of the roads are very narrow. That's why a lot of people walk. It's just, it's just how it is. And so I really like having that atmosphere, I guess.
I could see that. Yeah, I don't know if I would feel comfortable driving on super narrow roads. I've been on a couple of roads that I would personally consider narrow, and I drove like way below the speed limit because I was like, I don't want to hit anything.
Yeah, we have those narrow roads in Baltimore because Baltimore was also a city made before cars were invented. So trying to get through the alleyways is like one time I had to try to direct my husband. He still ran into the trash can. Not easy. Those alleyways are so narrow.
So I grew up in a city, but I grew up on like the city, like going out of the city. So I grew up on land. I grew up on 3 acres. So I grew up like animals and things at home and like getting up and feeding the animals and learning how to ride horses and stuff like that. But when I graduated college and I left like Oklahoma college towns and whatnot, like I went to Dallas. I was living in Plano. So I was like in a city and I loved it. Now I wasn't in Dallas, so I wasn't in like a big city, but I was in like a suburb of it. So that I like. But I do know in suburbs you can still, like suburban cities, you can still get land. So for me, that's kind of like the best of both worlds for me. Because like I don't
agree with that.
I'm with you. Like I don't want neighbors. Like I don't want you super close, but I don't want you so far if there just so happens to be a serial killer that nobody would know. Like,
I know, right?
like I want safeguards for like the most random but expected things could happen. As a writer, like, you know, our brains go like, what all could happen in this situation? So I could see me living on like 10 acres and then get like a knock on a rainy night at my door and be like, nah, I'm not okay with that.
That's why you get the wolfhounds and all the things that'll keep you hopefully protected, and then you get your shotguns. I remember one time I was living actually on a farm, and I got a knock late at night, and I'm like, yeah, I opened the door, and of course my neighbor has this huge gun in his hand, and he goes, "There are wolves out tonight. Just letting you know that we're gonna come walking around. We're gonna keep you safe." Because I was an unmarried woman, and they were like, "We gotta keep her safe, everyone." No, they were keeping everyone safe, but they were going around letting people know that there were some either wolves or coyotes. I don't know which one at the moment. So it was one or the other, but they had to let me know, and it was interesting to see them walking up with big hunting rifles. I was like,
it was sweet of them. Like, yeah, we'll protect you. Like,
yeah, although I grew up with them. I grew up with coyotes and wolves, so it was like it you know, but it's nice to see that there are people that are willing to, you know, to watch out for you.
Yeah.
Let me turn the camera off real quick. Gotta test the blood again.
That makes sense. All right, let's see. The Naked Firefly says most of the Europe streets are like right now in Germany. They're making some of the roads bigger for American-sized cars. Sorry, for some reason I find that very funny. Like, I feel like just so many things are so big in America, like the cars, the portion sizes, like just everything.
I mean, it makes sense. When I was selling cars, we would talk about how there was a lot of people that would come and try to buy our type of cars for cheap, at least relatively cheap, and then sell them over in Europe for like 3 times their amount. So we're talking a $30,000 car, and they sold it for $300,000 because the European cars are mostly very small. So if you've got, and it's like a big trend, everyone wants the really big cars. Even our sedans, our small little sedans, like the Toyota Camrys and even the Corollas, which are smaller, those are considered bigger than what a lot of the European cars are like. So unfortunately, they do a lot of illegal selling, so we couldn't sell cars like that if we knew what was happening. But
yeah, it's weird to think that even like a Toyota Camry is considered big. Like,
yeah, they would sell it for like $100,000-$200,000, no problem.
Let's see, the Naked Firefly. American attitudes are big too. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like in other countries, they can pick out Americans so fast with the way they act. Like this is, yeah. When I studied abroad, I was so embarrassed for like being with the kids that I studied abroad with, because like I was like, y'all are an embarrassment. Like you guys are acting like ridiculous. And luckily for me, nobody thought I was American. Like I got asked if I was Canadian. Every time somebody saw me, nobody thought I was American. And like by the end of the trip, I was like, yeah, no, I'm Canadian. No, I'm not American. Like, no, you know, yeah, no, yep, that's exactly where I'm from. Yeah, girl, I grew up right around there. Yeah, that was my answer, because I was like, no, I don't want y'all to associate me with these American college students who might get kicked out this country because they don't know how to act.
Yeah.
When I was in Germany, most people thought they just called me European. And I definitely fueled that because it was right after September 11th. So it was like, and I say right after, it was literally 3 years after, but it was still close enough that there was still a friction between Americans and some of the Europeans. So especially when I was in Egypt, because that is mostly a Muslim country, although they have Christians in there too. But it's like they were so, they were so paranoid about what could happen, which rightfully so, mind you, that I just said I was European, and they believed me, and because my mom taught me right in my manners, at least I would think so.
Yeah, I would like to think that my parents taught me right as well. And although I don't necessarily believe in completely changing yourself to fit in somewhere, I mean there's a difference between completely changing yourself and being respectful. Like like I don't know. So
Yeah.
like you can be respectful without changing who you are. I don't know, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Like in Germany, they're very big on punctuality. They don't want you coming early. They don't want you coming late. You come on time, on the dot, and bring a present.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're so what's interesting is I believe it's Switzerland. They have what's called three areas. They've got Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Switzerland. I can't remember what the third one is. But they say that because each part of it's either Switzerland or Sweden, and that's why I'm getting it confused. But each part is a lot like the one side. And in Germany, Switzerland, the place that's more like Germany, the bullet trains are very exact. So, that is a thing, is the exact punctuality. In Germany, there's just such a strict etiquette in time. They're very friendly people, though. You could meet them one day, just one day, 5 hours maybe, and they'd already invite you to dinner.
Okay.
But they're still very strict because it really insults them if you don't have the manners that you're supposed to have.
I could see that. I could see that. I am struggling a little bit with understanding why being early is bad. Unless you're going to someone's home, then early could be an inconvenience depending on how early you are. But
I think for them it is, if you're too early, you're rushing and you're trying to rush this through, and they're very much into, and then if you're too late, obviously you're wasting their time,
okay.
And a lot of times they invite you to their house. At least they did in Germany when I was living there. I mean, things have changed. Obviously, I was there in the 80s and 90s, so I don't know what it's like in the 2000s anymore.
Okay.
It's been quite a while, so.
Okay. Let's see. The Naked Firefly says Europeans don't really have big families like Americans, so big cars aren't really necessary for them. Okay. It's embarrassing living here. Half the people think I'm German unless I don't wear my head wrap. I'm good with that. It's no longer a friction here. It's definitely something more after an American woman gave many people the virus here. Okay.
I can understand that.
Yeah, that is, that's understandable.
Yeah, that virus is very problematic. I don't think I've really left my house since March, except for when I have to go to my doctor's appointments and give blood. It's about when I leave my house.
Yeah, I basically only leave my house to go to the grocery store and to go to doctor's appointments because I have some medical stuff as well. And then I think I went, like, since quarantine started, I think I went to the bookstore once and like a craft store once because books and crafts, like. But yeah, for the most part, I just go to the grocery store and my doctor's appointments. So
I've been too paranoid.
Yeah, that's been me. Like, I went to go to doctor's appointments or go grocery shopping, I had my groceries ordered once, and that was like when it like was like first started and was really like bad. But other than that, I went and got my groceries. I've tried to do like online therapy where I can, but when I've had to like go in, like I went in and stuff. Like I have to go in to see the neurologist like next week, and like I have to physically go, so like stuff like that. But yeah, but like you, like I've been like, if I don't have to leave the house, I'm not gonna leave the house. Like I'll just stay here. And when I do leave the house, like it's Mass Central. Like no,
Yes.
don't breathe on me.
Yeah.
Don't breathe on me. You stay there.
I have 2 autoimmune disorders, scarred
Oh, me
lung,
too.
and I've almost died 13 times in my life. So I'm not taking much for granted. I'm trying to keep myself safe, and this is my pancreas, so I'm very much trying to keep everything as safe as I can.
Yeah, as a fellow person with at least two autoimmune disorders, and there's a question mark on a couple more that I might have or may not have. It's complicated, but I have 2 that are officially diagnosed. So as a fellow autoimmune person, I totally understand.
Well, you know what they say. You get one, it's like Pokemon. You collect
I
them all.
know. It's just like exponential increase. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to collect all of the autoimmunes. Like,
right? I mean, it's bad enough that my type 1 diabetes cuts 12 years off my life. I'm like, gee, thanks. I mean, come on. I didn't ask for this. But nobody asks for the things they get, you know.
Yeah. And then autoimmune disorders can be difficult because a lot of them mimic each other. So before you're officially diagnosed, it's like it's hard to tell what's wrong, or at least in my experience.
Yeah.
In my current experience. So it's just yeah.
My diabetes was easy. I went into a DKA coma and woke up in the hospital with my blood sugars at 800. So it was very easy to find that one. The Lyme's disease was harder. So.
Before I was diagnosed, it took me a while to get diagnosed. So I was in high school, and so I'm already a really tiny person, and I dropped a lot of weight. Like I already don't weigh much, and I dropped like 20 pounds. So the doctor immediately said, "Oh, she must be anorexic." And I swore up and down, I'm not anorexic. I'm eating. There's something physically wrong with me. But the doctor at first wouldn't listen. He basically just said, "Oh, you must be anorexic." But then my parents watched what I ate, and they saw how much I was eating. And they're like, "How is she anorexic?" And then is it bulimia? And I'm like, I don't have an eating disorder. Like, eating disorders are serious, but I didn't have one. I knew I didn't have one. And then, then my personality started changing because like my body was attacking itself, and it was just super fatigued and just, anyway, it was a whole ordeal. Finally, I was diagnosed. So yeah. And then like immediately after I started taking the medication I needed to, I like gained the 20 pounds back. And so yeah. Anyway, sorry if that was personal.
No, you're fine. No, since you shared that, like I was gonna say, like, so I actually had my first seizure that we know was a seizure during my freshman year during my first calculus exam. And we ended up like going through neurologists and going through tests and found out that I've been having seizures ever since I was a child, and nobody knew the type of seizures I was having, because everyone is so used to grandma seizures, what they used to call grandma seizures, or tonic-clonic seizures where people shake, and that's not the type of seizures that I have.
Yeah. Is it called micro seizures or something like that?
They used to be called petite mal. They're now called absence.
Okay.
Absence seizures.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, like for mine, they just look like I'm daydreaming, and I might do like some repetitious movement, but it's small. So it's not something you would notice unless you're really paying attention. So no, like, and it went back to like kind of your situation, like you try to tell someone something is wrong, and they're like, oh, well, it has to be this. And it's like, no, I'm telling you that that's not what it is. Like, it's something else. I don't know what, but it's something else. So, no, I definitely understand.
My mom had petite mal, so for her, it was spacing out.
Okay.
Yep, that's what mine look like. It just looks like I'm daydreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, some things are just, they can be very difficult to diagnose, it seems. And then, well, at least they found it.
Yeah.
At least you're officially diagnosed now. So, or it seems that way. So at least you can get the care. So
you can get the help you need. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, is when you need help and they're not listening to you. And then it takes a while.
Yes.
Like, they say that they think that I've had Lyme's disease since I was 12. They didn't catch it till I was 22. But I kept having problems with certain things, and they didn't catch it until I basically had what looked to be a seizure, a full-on grand mal seizure, while I was at the doctor's office. And they're like, we need to test you for autoimmune diseases. And that's when they found out about the Lyme's disease. And though I've taken the medication to stop it, so it's not going throughout my body, it's already damaged my nervous system. So every now and again, I go through things that people are like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, it's okay. This is an old thing I'm dealing with. But they think I've had it, that I had it for like 10 years before it was caught.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how long I had my autoimmune stuff before it was caught, but I suspect that I had it for a while because it got really bad. And then again, at first it was just like, oh, you must have an eating disorder. And again, I'm not trying to belittle or discredit eating disorders. They are bad. But I knew that I was eating, and I knew I wasn't picking it up or not eating. And I knew that there was something wrong, and I just felt like I wasn't being listened to. Luckily, my parents listened, but the doctor just... Anyway.
There are sadly a lot of times, and not all the time, but there's sadly a lot of times when the doctors will feel like they know more because they've gone to school. It makes sense.
Yes.
But sometimes they need to listen to the person. The person's living in their body. Yeah.
Yes.
We just gotta acknowledge that just because you went to school for something doesn't mean you know everything.
Exactly.
Like, how many doctors will argue with you about tonsils growing back, but it is a fact that your tonsils can grow back?
Yeah.
Like, but there are some doctors who will be like, no, that can't happen. No, it definitely does. Like, it's happened to me multiple times. Like,
I never knew that. I know that adenoids grew back, but I didn't know tonsils did. Pretty cool.
Yeah, the tonsils grew back. The other thing that people don't know, like, or even like, there are so many different types of seizures that unless you're a neurologist, more times than not, you're not going to know all of them. So like, even when I would try to explain the type of seizures I would have to a doctor, if they were just a regular emergency room doctor, they wouldn't know what I was talking about. And they would like tell me that I was making stuff up, or stuff wasn't, or that wasn't how it exhibited, or asking me all types of questions that have nothing to do with treating the actual thing that I'm there for. So I think that's the other thing that I feel like it's just like we as I don't know how other people are, but I know as Americans we put so much stock in titles that we just like when someone has that title, like, oh, they know what they're doing, and we gotta realize no, they're still human. So that doesn't mean that they're gonna get it right. Like, that's definitely not a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. The Naked Firefly mentioned that bringing a gift is not as mandatory unless you visit an older woman. Oh, that was probably back at the Germany conversation. Sorry, I'm like behind on comments. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Might go to bed since it's past 3 a.m. here at night. Good night, Alley Cat. You're probably not hearing this now if you're already in bed, but if you are still here, good night. Yes, night. Let's see. Dolores says, because I grew up with my mom having epilepsy, I recognized when my sister had her first one on the school bus when she was in 1st grade. That's really good. That's really good of you. Yeah. Tonsils grow back? ?
Yeah, a lot of us.
Yeah. So in most cases, in most cases, like a lot of times, what it is they don't get all the tissue, and over time the tissue regenerates and just grows back.
Okay. And then back on this comment, epilepsy just does not sound fun at all. I feel bad for people who
Yeah, no,
have
I hate it. I hate it. It like completely changed my life. Like it changed like the grand course of everything. But it definitely, it makes me stronger. That for sure. Definitely means that like I put in a lot of work to get everything I did done. So it didn't make life easy. So I feel like in that respect, like it was good, Like it had its good purposes in my life. So
Yeah. I have a question, and if it's too personal, you can definitely say that it's too personal. You don't want to answer it. But it's just kind of about epilepsy. If you've noticed, like, how often do you watch a show? Like, do you get bothered by flashing lights? And then if so, how
yeah.
often do you watch shows or movies where it happens and there's no warning?
That is very often. The number one place where it's not music videos. It is almost never put in music videos that are gonna be like flashing lights and things like that. So like I'll be watching a music video to a song I like, and then it'll happen. It's becoming more of a thing. I want to say the first time I saw anything about like epileptic triggers in a movie was when the movie was it Quarantine? I want to say it was Quarantine where like the rabies and whatnot, and it was like all shot, like it was like shot live. Was the movie was supposed to make you feel like it was like a documentary type style, um, and that was the first time I remember seeing it, and I just know, like in general, they don't put it in a lot of movies, but it is like a growing thing. But I'm constantly like, if I'm watching something with my boyfriend, like I'm constantly like turning and putting my head into his chest, and he'll like tell me when the lights stop flashing, when I can go back to watch it. Like we've been like, if he's gotten pulled over for a speed ticket, like he's like the first thing he'll tell a police officer is like, "Hey, can we get you to turn your flashing lights off because she will have a seizure." I've had a seizure from police lights before, so.
Okay. That sounds frustrating. Sometimes flashing lights bother me too, but I guess I don't know if I have seizures or not, or if just the lights just bother me. Yeah, but there are definitely some movies and stuff that bother me.
So like
I don't.
it can be so bad that like road trips can be bad because if we're driving down a road and it's like a bright sunny day, but there are a lot of trees, the effect of the trees, the sun coming through the light of the trees has a strobing effect, and I'll like have to like close my eyes or cover my head like while I'm in the car.
I can see that. Yeah. I could understand that. Yeah, flashing lights. Yeah, I think the thing that bothers me about them is sometimes they make me feel nauseous for some reason. I have no idea why, but I don't know.
I know for me, I can't go into clubs and I have a hard time with like every time there's any police lights, any type of strobes, I have to close my eyes because I don't have any seizures, but I get so sick that I start throwing up and I have to call out of work and because I just cannot do anything. And
I
it
get
just
nauseous too. Do you happen to know why you get that way? Because,
not me. I mean, I've
okay.
never been diagnosed. I just know that every time I'm driving or when I'm not driving, my husband will tell me to close my eyes when he sees any lights because any lights are just bad. The only thing I could think of is that I'm just highly sensitive to lights. And that'd be the only thing I could think of is it just makes me that sick.
Yeah, that's my assumption as well, but I'm right there with you. Like, I don't know, there's something about flashing lights or very bright lights that
Yeah.
just sometimes just makes me feel nauseous and sick to my stomach. I don't know why, but
Like I'm getting a migraine from the light up here because I can't. That's one of the first things that happens. I start getting a migraine. Um, yeah.
let's see. Dolores says, yeah, for sure. I'm just glad my sister had my mom so she was not alone like my mom felt. Yes. as someone who has medical issues, it is definitely nice to know someone who also has medical issues, because then they understand. Like, there are so many people who, and I don't blame the people who don't understand. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. But it's like sometimes I just can't do something, or sometimes I struggle walking upstairs, and people are like, "Oh, well, you're young and you're healthy," and I'm like, "Well, the healthy part's debatable." Like, my blood tests tell me different.
So when I was your age, I had a seizure that was it was a seizure that triggered a PTSD episode, and my brain simulated a stroke. So at 24, I was completely paralyzed on the right side of my body.
Oh,
And I had to walk around with the cane, like go through physical therapy to be able to walk again. So like when you talk about like not being able to go upstairs and like people being like, she looks so young, what is going on? Like that is a hard thing. People don't think about that like a lot. They don't think about that kind of stuff. Like I didn't think about it until I was the 24-year-old walking around with a cane. You know what I mean? Like I was like, it wasn't a thought. And then once you're in that position, you're like, yo, this is different.
Yeah, I feel like it would be hard to have that much paralyzed. I've had half my face paralyzed before because I got Bell's palsy one time, and I thought I had a stroke. I woke up and half my face was just drooping and it felt numb, and it was one of the scariest days. But I guess luckily it was just Bell's palsy, which I say just Bell's palsy, like
it's definitely still a big deal. Definitely still a big deal.
I know. So yeah, my face was paralyzed and like numb feeling for, luckily I recovered fairly quickly. I think it was only that way for maybe like a week. But yeah, it was, yeah. All right, let's see.
Interesting. YouTube, you're okay. For some reason, your stream's been flagged for nudity.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it says Dear Mo writes and reads.
Is that like a real YouTube thing though? I've never seen YouTube comment like this.
I was about to say, is it because of my shirt being a certain color? I mean, I'll put back my scarf. It's a shirt. I swear to God.
I'm so confused.
I have a question. Can you go to YouTube proper on your video and see if you can remove the person? Like if you can do something? Because I wonder if that's like a real person or not.
I'm just wondering if they're flagging nudity because my skin is so pale and I'm wearing a white shirt.
Normally, if something is like wrong during a stream or something, they just cancel your stream out. Like they just like stop you from streaming. I thought, because I've been where somebody did something and they didn't get a message. The stream just like cut off. That's why I said that there's a comment.
Okay. I mean, it seems like the stream is still going and I don't see any other notifications. That's really strange.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because my shirt is very pale and I'm very pale. It's the only thing I could think of, but I swear I'm wearing clothes. I'll just put on my little scarf because it's blue.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess. Oh well. All right.
Well, if it's because of me and my clothes, I am sorry.
Oh, it's fine. And I mean, I have so few subscribers and so few videos, like I can't get monetized anyway. So, let's see. Delora says my mom is more triggered than my sister is. My mom too with the police lights. And then Delora says that's where to the flag. Yeah, that is really weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Oh well.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird. The only thing I could think of is just that my skin's very pale and my shirt's white, so now maybe it blends in.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it just blends in so they think I'm wearing nothing.
Yeah, there was a YouTuber that I was watching that her video got flagged for nudity when she was doing a try-on haul of some clothing, even though she was wearing clothes. She wasn't naked in any of them.
Yeah.
And then she had, I think, her boyfriend or a male friend do the same try-on haul, and his did not get flagged for nudity.
Huh.
Even though he, I think, at one point took off, like, I don't know if he went completely shirtless or not, but I think, yeah, it was really weird that hers got flagged for nudity and his didn't, but whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I could see why somebody would get it mistaken for my shirt because I am very pale. I'm so pale that when I was born, they actually said that my skin color was translucent because I looked blue, and it was because of my veins.
Oh, wow.
They were like, you could see my veins like it was a road map. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I'll wear darker clothes. I'll wear something darker.
That is really weird.
I've never seen it before, so I was like, I'll bring it to your attention to see that YouTube said something. But
yeah. That is really, really strange. Oh, well.
I mean, I'm sure if you really want, you could go to YouTube and protest. Tell them, look,
Yeah.
who's being
Well, then,
nude.
like, if they did flag it, you should have got an email about it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
you might get one.
Okay. Yeah, after the streamer, maybe after I get some sleep, I'll probably like do some more research into that to see if A, it's legit, and B, I'll protest it because I mean clearly there's no nudity. So. Oh, well.
Yeah, it just means I need to wear darker shirts.
Well, if that's the problem, like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It could be that we're all showing our arms. Oh no. Oh no. Our arms are being shown.
Oh, my neck is being shown. Like,
no,
cover it.
We're back in the
I'll hide it with this
1920s.
pumpkin.
We're back in the 1920s. We can't even show our ankles.
Wow, it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I did not realize it was that late.
Yeah, it's coming up on the top of hour 3.
I know. Sorry, my brain's just like a bit dead right now.
It's understandable.
So, do y'all want to continue talking, or are y'all kind of like, oh, I want to go to bed now, or?
I mean,
I feel like we could like wrap up or whatever, but
yeah, especially since
like I know that there's other like sprints and stuff still going on while we're doing it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then the next chat starts in like 11 minutes.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Yeah.
I thought they were 6 hours apart. They're 3 hours.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is.
No, the next sprint starts in 11 minutes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we can wrap up. Also, in the description down below, I think I linked y'all's YouTube channels. For some reason, I got the wrong channel or something. Please let me know and I'll correct that. But yeah, y'all on the chat, y'all should also subscribe to them. And yeah, this has been really, really fun. So thank y'all for coming on to the live stream, and thank you to the commenters for commenting and actually helping us think about stuff to talk about. So
absolutely
great time, and I know you'll be on my stream with me when I'm.
I know, I'm so excited.
So I'm excited for that. Like, I'm super excited. Like, that'll be awesome.
So, and I also want to give a thanks for anyone who watches this in the future after it's no longer live. Thank y'all for watching. So yeah. Alrighty.